Stardate is 60000. In an instant, everything changed. The crystal was no more. Admiral Trailblazer had vanished. And instead, those few stood before a glittering golden crystal structure in a secure case. The reality orb was gone. And only Ensign Omnisven knew that he had changed something fundamental about their reality. Nothing would ever be the same.
And then the Fire Nation came.
This is a one threat episode.
Fix that.
We cut up straight where we left off in the last episode in the last season, in the special crystal containment room, with Ensign Van Ryloff and Lieutenant Ryloff and Captain Pend in the room. Commander Thorlock just out in the hallway, and yeah, things have changed dramatically around you.
Am I still holding the harmonizer device, or am I?
You would be, yep.
Okay. And Vet just sort of lets it drop to his side.
Where's the orb?
Where's the Admiral?
Oh. Oh boy. Captain, Marla, sirs,
Bridge to Captain Pend.
He's gonna look at the both of them thinking, I'm not this ship's captain.
I'm not this ship's Rylov.
Yeah, I'm not this ship's Pend.
Something happens off screen.
Or maybe we've all been unified.
We don't know that.
True.
Ensign Ven, perform a scan to verify. See if anything has changed, given the events that have just occurred, whatever they might have been. Confirm whether myself and the captain are aligned
okay.
with yourself.
I don't quite know what you're asking, but I'll give it a go.
I should be from the future. He should be.
Don't
I'm
ask.
not quite sure. Different.
Okay. Ven is going to start scanning.
On the bridge.
Oh, great.
Captain Penn steps onto the bridge. I've double checked, sir. There's another one of you down in the saucer, and there's another Lieutenant Ryloff. Person from science kind of turns around confused, like they don't know how, and they look at you, and then look at the readings, and then look back at you, like they're making sure they're not seeing things. And then just that moment, you both know about the other ones, and you know what they know.
He's gonna tap his comm badge.
Rylov's just gonna stiffen,
Captain Pen to Captain Pend.
Are we aware of the other one's existence in that same moment as well?
Yep.
Oh.
Hello, Captain Pen. This is Captain Pen. How may I help you on your flight today?
Ven's jaw just drops.
You're not supposed to be here. Why are you here? And what's just happened? Well, that's a long story. I'll inform myself once Ensign Ven gives me some answers.
I feel like we just got our answers, Captain.
I know, but there's currently two of us, Rylov.
Oh, but...
And then the two of them are beamed away.
What about my drone? I had that. It was in my hands.
Poof.
My drone!
Presses his communicator. Vent to Captain Penned. Captain Penned.
This is Pen on Bridge.
Bridge bend.
The Penned down here just disappeared. As did the Lieutenant Rylov down here. Is there also a Lieutenant Rylov up there?
Fitness medicine difficulty 2 for Pend and Rylov, as you both suddenly have a splitting headache.
Oh, fuck. Hey, I upped a medicine score recently.
Hey.
Focus in mental prowess.
Yep.
Would you take tried and tested? It's not the first time this has happened for some reason.
True.
That must be nice. I'm paranoid. I'm pretty sure it gets harder for me.
I'm just gonna roll. There's a diff 1 for me.
Nice. So, yeah, GM, I'm paranoid.
Comp increase.
Okay. Yeah, none of those work. Okay, I'll give you a threat. Why not? Ah, that's why not. Okay. That's standing. That's also a complication because of paranoia, so, you know. welcome.
Ryloff, you have this distinct impression someone's edited your memories.
No.
In addition,
That's where Pen's like, oh, this is happening again. Okay.
Oh no.
you take 1 stress.
Okay.
As the headache is noticeably painful, but you can you just left with that impression that someone or something has messed with your memories.
Mm-hmm.
And at that exact moment, you guys need to roll for your ally, of Lieutenant Shishashreer. She has to do the same test you two do, except it's diff 5. Because she remembers her own death.
I didn't kill her. We saved her. I mean, we stopped her heart briefly, but we did save her.
From her perspective, she was ready to have her blood be left aside the wall of heroes for the treachery she felt she had done in your eyes.
Yep.
Okay.
She was going to be excommunicado from Andorian society and culture and would embrace the phaser shot.
Fair enough.
She was not having a nice day.
Would you
And now she remembers that moment.
would you take anatomy as a focus?
At a comp increase.
Sure. That's the best I'm going to get for focuses.
As she gets she almost forms a sort of dissociation, which somehow works for the Andorian. For a human, this would be terrible, but for the Andorian, it seems to be helping.
Spend a value. I can evade any threat.
Um,
I can evade the threat of mental trauma.
Sure.
She doesn't have a reroll, so I'm just going to give you a full 5.
Okay.
And you say it's a diff 5 task?
Yeah.
As I just need 3 hits. I'm going to spend her last determination because she gets 2. 2.
That's 2 comp.
Yep. I can evade any threat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to reroll 3 dice.
I can outrun my feels.
Oh no.
She's at 4. with a complication.
I
Okay.
mean, I get penned. You could give her yours.
Fuck it, sure. Why not?
You see her gripping her head, her antennae curling in intense agony, and she's just... It looks like she's on the brink of screaming right there on the bridge, like something's terrible happening in her head.
The only one like directive I can play for is temporal.
Well, you don't have to have a...
Yeah, you're using your CO power. CO power doesn't need justification. You just give it to somebody.
Wait, doesn't it still count as like a spend?
For the purposes of veteran, yes, but it's one of two ways that you can spend determination without a justification. It's giving it as a CO or avoiding an injury, pushing through an injury.
Oh, no, I was thinking about rep, but yeah. So I'll give her the determination. I can evade any threat.
Yep.
Third time's the charm. Yay!
Yay!
She survives.
Wow.
You find yourself at the shoulder of your adoptive sister, and you can tell she is. It's like she turned into a small child for a second. Like she was, you could almost feel her retreating deep into the recesses of her mind. She was really not in a great place, and it just kind of. She just takes a breath, and her antennae slowly uncurl, and she's kind of. She looks like she's been climbing a glacier for the last week. Like she looks exhausted.
Yeah, I'll just put my forehead against the side of her head. Just refocus, okay?
She takes 3 stress.
Awesome.
I love how succeeding means you take. that's
Oh, I
great.
could spend for that one to pick on her.
Yeah.
She's just kind of. Thor looks all right, right? She's all right.
Who's asking that?
She is. She looks mildly panicked.
Throlic should be fine. I've heard nothing to contradict that.
Do I have a role coming too, GM?
Nope, because you don't have a conflict of 2 minds. It's just that her memory was super vivid. But then again, I do have 10 threats, so I'll pick on you too. You're right.
Yeah, I was going to say you do it now, yeah.
Difficulty 3. Because you did shoot Shishishrir, and well, her heart did stop. You didn't mean to kill her, but she was heart dead for a few beats there.
Mm-hmm. All right. 3. Fitness medicine. Calm in the storm.
Yeah.
And I was about to look at focuses. Doesn't matter.
Got a 1.
It got a 1. I'll spend for a 3rd die here. Momentum. Okay. I made it.
The memory hits you, but you're kind of able to weather it. Doesn't feel great.
Right.
So, do I technically have the memories of 2 other pens due to this clusterfuck?
Yep.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
The roll would have been impossible if all 3 of you were here. There's just no amount that your brain would not be able to handle that kind of over. Because for Ryloff and actually Penn, since you made it, and Throlic as well, and just sure because she did make it in the end. Wait, Ryloff did as well. You failed, didn't you?
failed with a
Rylov.
comp.
Yeah, so yeah, Rylov just thinks his memories are screwed with, but those who made it kind of have this clarity that they know the other experiences are real. Like they're not just fantasy or imaginings or implants. It's like, no, those are your memories.
Is this the real life or just
Or is this
fantasy?
fantasy?
Look, there's no escape from reality.
Easy
Easy come,
easy
easy
go.
go.
I mean, if you just open your eyes and look to the sky and see.
Ops.
Oh my god.
What's
Stop
it?
him.
Ops. What's it like outside?
You see stars at the view screen.
No, like, tell me where we are, when we are. Give me a description of the sector we are in, the system we're in.
Sounds like someone wants a variety of roles. You want to know where you are? Reason plus con, difficulty of 2, assisted by sensors plus con. You want to know what's around you? Reason plus science, difficulty 2, sensors plus science.
Okay. I'll do the con roll with Shishrafe. Someone wants to take the science roll.
Science officer might not be back on the bridge yet.
I'm not on the bridge right now.
We have NPCs.
Do you?
Do we have science NPCs?
We do.
I was gonna say.
Cool.
There's Rymek.
I can point out that you could since we're not combat timing, Enzivan could very rapidly be on the bridge just with a quick turbo ride up.
Yeah, let's do that then.
Give you a threat for Shishrave's con roll.
Roger.
I'm here, Captain.
Get me a scan of what's happening outside and where we are.
Yes, Captain.
Sensors con. Oh, she failed.
What a
She's
she
distracted.
doesn't have a she doesn't have a reroll.
No, that's she's got cautious.
Dang.
Best I can tell you, Captain, is we are in the beta quadrant, but the readings don't make a whole lot of sense. There must be some sort of interference making the navigational calculations marred. I'm running a diagnostic on the computer now to fix it. Hopefully fix it anyway.
I will also spend a threat. Astrophysics or sensor operations.
Either would work here.
Okay, try and compile as much as we can, then we'll have to go over it in a little bit.
And just for the hay, you also get a threat, and I get a bonus momentum.
I can tell you we're not inside the Shackleton Expanse because we're not suffering any of the environmental eddies, so we're in open space somewhere.
We should have been in the Expanse by the gate.
I even the first level of diagnosis catches it, Captain. It's well, she gestures to the view screen. It'd be a lot more orange out there if we were in the Shackleton.
So where the hell are we?
That's what I'm hoping Eds and Vin will help me with.
So I generated 2 momentum plus a bonus momentum.
Then you're able to verify against the ship's chronometer. Well, your ship's chronometer tells you that it is currently... Actually, I got that backwards. Your ship's chronometer tells you that it is 741 as the start date. However, you do some calculations based off the galactic core, your relative position to it, various other stars, and a variety of other calculations that go into star date calculation. Plus, you apparently seem to be in range of a Starfleet, a United Federation of Planets buoy, navigational buoy that helps you re-verify and like something you can diagnose your work, like double check your work real quick, rather. Yeah, it is 60000. It's over 700 star dates in the past, and the quantum signature does not match the ship or the crew. However, it seems that you do match this, the quantum signature of this universe.
Just me.
Just you.
Oh. Uh.
I will note there's no chronoton radiation, there's no tachyonic radiation, there's no multiphasic anomaly or spatial eddy or anything. You just are sitting here in open space.
Can I get a oh, I know. Because the ship, other than me, signature doesn't match. Does it match up to anything within our computer database?
Does what? Sorry.
The quantum signature of the ship.
Right.
Does the quantum signature of our ship match any known in the ship's database?
Yeah, your current, according to the ship, you are an anomaly to this reality. Because the ship's computer thinks that the correct signature is the one it has. Like, you're able to tell the computer your time is wrong, but the ship's chronometer is kind of an independent clock, so it lets you know when you've time traveled. Likewise, you know, the ship says my quantum signature is this, so that should be the reality that you're from. So to it, in the ship's database, that's your reality.
Oh, okay. I see.
This ship, and although you now know something the computer can't really know without like talking the AI through it to get it to understand, but you know just instinctually before the AI catches up with you that you match with this universe. You are not the anomaly to this universe. This ship and everyone on it is.
Yeah. I assume that was a question.
It was, yes.
Okay. That's my free question. Just as. Does anyone have any suggestions for my other question? Because I do have a bonus momentum.
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither.
The quantum phase variance between you and the ship. Maybe if we can narrow that down, we can
yeah.
get an
That's
idea where
actually a
we
good
are
one.
in the universe.
How wide of a gap is there between the signature that we have and the signature that we should be seeing?
About a 0.00001% variance.
Which I assume is small.
It is on an astronomical scale, it is significant, but not drastic. Like Mirrorverse is fairly drastic.
Yeah.
This is more akin to
Like
an alternate timeline sort of shift. Like it's just like a small subset of events are different, as opposed to massive historical.
Mirror universe is probably in the whole numbers. Okay.
Once you get to like 1% variance, you're talking about like fundamental parts of reality don't work the same way. Like subspace isn't a thing, for example. You know, it gets a little fuzzy.
Ven
But still.
stands up and says, Captain, we're currently a good ways into the past. Stardate 60000.
Happy New Year! Brandon Benson announces from the back.
As for, well, certain other factors, I think I'm in a unique position to elucidate, but I think this is something that I should discuss with you and the commander first.
Well, as of right now, until we figure out exactly what's going on, the ship is going to be on full stop, and I want a full report from all departments.
Full stop. Just sure taps some controls, and she brings the ship to complete stop.
I want to know everything that's changed, modified, upgraded, downgraded, anything at all. Then we're going to have a senior staff meeting, and we can figure out where to go from there. But until we have these data points, we can't proceed any further. Is that understood?
As Penn says that, new scene. Aza,
Hello.
you're in Med Bay.
Mm-hmm.
It seems one Cadet Kobuk and one La Hoka are in the Med Bay currently. Reports have come in that they are both been stunned, I believe, or pummeled to a certain degree by Captain Pend, and then they were secured and brought down here. And then you now have the memories of both Azas, and it just kind of hits you suddenly.
Okay, well, she's gonna be taken aback for a second, maybe grab onto the wall for balance. This feels like a spiritually significant event. So, what, if any, are the meaningful differences between the two realities I've occupied?
Well, you are currently having the memories of Aza up until the ship was like being attacked at the Iconian Gate and stuff. But you also have the memories of the other Aza who went on the icebreaker and went through all that.
Okay, so it's a forward-backwards thing. Okay.
Yeah, so it's suddenly having memories that of a future you haven't experienced, except you have experienced them. So it's this weird, it's disorienting for a second, but you're able to kind of center yourself.
Okay, I would like to look at this officer behind the desk. Do they look like they just went through the same thing?
Yep. And the two people near the testing suite kind of have that. They kind of put their experiments on hold first, like emergency stop, and they step away from the controls to kind of, whoa, that was weird. And they do the same thing you do. They kind of start looking around to see who else felt that. And there's this meaningful look as they match your eyes of, that wasn't just me, was it? Sort of look.
Okay, people. Well, it looks like someone has messed with the timeline. Okay, you know the procedure. There might be mental health problems in the crew. We will have to do an index of that. But otherwise, our goal here is not to solve the problem. It is to make sure everyone keeps their heads on straight, okay?
Hi, Counselor. This is the bridge to Med Bay.
Yeah, this is Counselor Reza Medbay here.
Captain's requesting a briefing on current status and is summoning a senior staff meeting in 15 minutes.
Oh, wow, I can't imagine why. Tell him I'll be there, and I'll have that report with me.
Hi, Counselor. You hear a click on their end as they disconnect and are probably doing that exact call to a bunch of other people, all the other departments.
All right, I will make an index of the med bay right now. Are our only two patients, Lahoka and Kobuk?
There's 6 others who've been moved into adjoining rooms. Kobuk and Hoka were took the brunt of the damage, but they have superficial wounds and injuries. Like bruising and stuff, a slight fracture, things any nurse can deal with.
Yeah, nothing the captain has to worry about. And in those 15 minutes, I would like to run through a couple of mental health check-ins throughout the ship just to make sure anyone who experiences this memory confusion, doesn't have any psychotic breaks because of it?
Reason or insight, plus medicine,
Mhm.
difficulty 2, assisted by the communications medicine of the ship.
Okay.
That's definitely going to be on the note for the report. Seems our medical department suddenly increased.
Yeah, no, I'm totally picturing like she walks through a door and it's like, huh, don't remember this being so big.
Oh, and they've actually like formally made the nearby quarters that no one was using into just bed space. Oh, that just makes sense, really.
Oh, it's so nice that that wasn't a storage room. Okay, focus in psychiatry.
Yep.
Okay. I hope temporal psychiatry is in its own discipline.
I mean, it's a subset, but if you're specializing that much, I think we're just doing time missions at that point. We're just a time ship
Yeah,
at
we're
that
gonna
point, rather.
grab the Doctor Who TTRPG. All right. Difficulty 2. I can probably do this. You only have 9 threat. Sure, I'll give you a threat.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Ooh, don't delete that. That would be bad. There we go.
It's 1 momentum.
We're getting 2 because the ship also hit.
Oh, you were absolutely right. I'm picturing like, she sits down on a seat and it's like, oh, I must have, I must have never noticed that feature. These seats have little heating pads in them. How nice.
And actually, here's a weird thing that Aza does as she's getting ready to, instead of heading to your office, you find yourself walking to the CMO office, and your memories clash with each other for a second as you're like, wait a minute, I'm not the CMO. Why am I going in there? I don't need to check in with them. But then you see your name on the door. One of your memories says you are the CMO. The other memory says, no, you're not. Dr. Koval is. The hell's going on?
She's gonna frown and like in the pad that she's using to like what is the status of the medical bay, it's gonna be like it seems to be nicer than half of me wants to say it is, and oh yeah, I think I got a promotion in only one timeline. But we can only roll with the hand that has been given to us. So if this is what they say my office is, this is what my office is. I will walk in and sit down.
So you walk in, you notice it doesn't have, like, the counselor's office was set up a lot more in a Bajoran counselor's setup. It's a little more, more incense, more open space, ugly couch. Well, okay, it's not ugly in Bajor, but what do other species know about it? But yeah, relatively Spartan. You want to kind of give it. Whereas this room does not feel like a Bajoran's room. There's a separate computer that is laid out. It isn't Elcar standard. It seems to be some sort of Romulan standard medical that's been like retro converted to be compatible with Starfleet standard. There is a monitoring station which seems to monitor every one of the rooms and every part of the medical wing, along with like loyalty. Well, not it isn't loyalty reports per se. It says personnel review manifests or something. But you've been through an occupation. It's a loyalty database to make sure that everyone is doing their job and no one's complaining, that sort of thing.
Is this like a secret police report, like an index on the people and their dissident thoughts?
For momentum, I will clarify further because you might jump.
I'm gonna spend that momentum because I don't want to misinterpret this.
This is there's a moment where you're like, this sounds like secret police spook stuff. Like this feels obsidian ordery, but you think about
there's an I instead of a U on this ship.
You think about it more, and you remember reading about Romulan medical practice, and there was regulations they had about ensuring loyalty of the crew, but the medical staff tended to be more focused on the medicine, less on the intelligence aspect of things. But they were required to. So this looks like a person who was used to doing that out of habit and just kind of found a way to fit it in. So Starfleet Medical might have a question or two about that particular console, but it's not a clear violation because it doesn't like monitor their rooms, their exact movements. It monitors their activities while in the medical wing.
On duty. Yeah, okay. Okay. So it's not okay. Okay. I didn't know if
But
you
this
were
is
about
definitely not
to say
something
I
you would
had
set
like
up. You know,
surveillance. Okay. So
Yeah.
does this make me think that this would be something Koval would do, which is odd because her name isn't the name on the door?
Yep.
Okay. All of these are going in my report notes, and I'm going to sit down and file this report.
Medical emergency and engineering. Someone get down here.
All right. I will jump out of my seat and begin running to the door. And yeah, I'm gonna point at two officers and say you with me, and I will run down to engineer.
New scene. A little before that, Lieutenant Arlen. Yeah, you're dealing with this Iconian gate. You're getting ready to go. You might have to fight. You just got back, and there's all this chaos going on. You're trying to keep your ship in order, and things kind of calm down for a second. You're getting some updates from different parts of the ship about ship status and stuff like that. Nothing's broken. As I recall, I don't think you were sitting on any breaches at the time.
I don't think we were.
Nope. So no new breaches. That's always good, as in there's none. And then the memories hit you, and it's a little disorienting. It's not very comfortable.
A little.
And then as you're kind of coming out of the fog, you hear the bridge call down to you. Like it's the same thing they're doing to the counselor. They're asking for a status update, meeting in 15, all that. But as they're saying this, you hear screaming coming out of this chamber.
Oh, Ven's killed Zeft.
I rush over to that chamber.
You see some engineers kind of looking over at Zeft as they're kind of helping him to the ground, and Zeft is screaming, and his eyes are glowing gold, then silver, then gold, then silver, and he just curled up on the ground. And he goes, "Stop!"
What do you?
I tap my comm badge, call for medical bay. I point to this guy and ask him to get a med kit off the wall.
I'll see one momentum.
One momentum.
Mother,
What did he
Mother,
scream?
help me, Mom! Ah! He just keeps screaming. He's just absolutely delirious, and the people around him are visibly worried for him because he's kind of been like the mascot of the star pupil of the engineering block, and now he's on the floor, and the engineers are feeling rather powerless to help him. They kind of look to you like with a look of, "Oh dear God, we hope you know what you're doing."
I don't know what I'm doing, but I lost my train of thought. Sorry. All right.
You're welcome.
I want the NPC with the med kit to like knock him out. Just straight a get him unconscious.
Roll medicine difficulty 2, as you instruct the officer to give the appropriate dosage to sedate the person in front of you.
I just about to say, how do you instruct him? By medical means or just to knock him out physically?
Well, that's daring security, and I'm gonna ding you for that.
I mean that's the second that's the second option if this doesn't work. Oh boy. Control medicine. Control's good, medicine not. Not gonna help. Starfleet protocols.
Complication increase. I'll take
Not worth it. I have a medicine of 1.
it.
Fast thinker. I'm thinking of a solution really quickly in a middle of a crisis.
I'll say no, only because your medicine's 1. It's hard to think fast when you're just thinking of first aid. What do you do? Sedate the patient. How do you know it's too much? Call medbay.
We'll
is the fast
figure that
thinker
out
path.
later.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, in that case, reckless. Reckless trait.
You're right. Difficulty of 3. Oh no, I take that back. It'd be a complication increase. It's the other way around. My bad. It's just a comp
Okay.
increase. You might give him too much.
Oh,
Make sure he goes
just,
out. Well, I mean, you will, but there's
all
reasons you
right.
don't oversedate patients.
3 threat. Let's go.
Boop boop. Mother, help me. And he fades off.
And I want someone else. Actually, I can do this. I'm gonna pull out a tricorder and try to see what subspace ace thing is going on, because I know he's attuned to hyperspace and subspace, so I detect a variance or something, some weird energy.
Give me reason plus science difficulty of 2.
I don't think I have a focus. Can't be technical insight because he's not a machine.
What is it,
Well.
biological machine?
That's how Borg gets started.
This is how Borg gets started. Okay. Hey, how about emergency repairs? I know that he's not that something is not going right. I'm trying to find the source of what's not going right in order to fix further issues from happening. That's kind of my reasoning here.
I'm gonna say it's too far removed from what you're
All right.
from what you're looking for. Because if anything, you're scanning the air around you. You're seeing if there's anything that's changed about subspace on a scientific level. Because medically, I mean, you could do this you could make this a medical scan, but then it turns into a medical roll. I don't think you want that.
I don't want that. All right. Diff 2, 3.
Now, if this was myth or
3
some
threat.
other android, it'd be engineering. It would make total sense then.
Oh, now you. Oh wait. Those are just ones.
Okay. 4 ones though, so 2 momentum generated. Counselor Aza and your medical team are racing toward the chamber. As they're doing that, Arlen, you're able to. You've learned what Ven has learned. Well, minus the fact that actually here's the thing that's weird. You and the ship and the immediate space around you is of a certain quantum signature. But as a standard like quantum signature check, the standard protocol is to ask the ship verify our signature against the universe around us, just to make sure there's no computer glitch. Usually it's a check mark. It's a formality. Except the computer tells you no, the universe around you does not match the quote unquote correct temporal quantum variance of the ship. However, there's one other thing, and Ben wasn't able to catch this because this happened after his scan, but this is happening because you're sitting right over him. Zeft's signature is fluctuating wildly.
Okay. I'm gonna pull some engineering BS here. I would like to erect a subspace field all around his body in order to stabilize his quantum signature.
There is a device that can do that. You can replicate it. It is 2 opportunity and 1 threat.
Take it.
And now, control plus engineering difficulty of 5. Normally this wouldn't be possible, but you have the armband that the Enterprise D used to deal with quantum slipping.
Sweet. All right, and now I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm approaching a medical issue through engineering.
I presume you're getting your engineering team to help you with this?
Yes.
Diff 4.
Limit pusher, fast thinker. Especially since I'm coming up with this hypothesis on the spot.
Fast thinker will help.
Lateral thinker, especially since I'm solving a medical emergency through engineering means, or through science through engineering.
If anything, you're using the correct tool for the correct problem.
Okay.
This would be harder
Uh,
for a medical person to deal with. Because it's an
And, of
engineering
course-
problem at its core.
And of course, reckless.
Bump increase.
Yay!
Yay.
Can I redline in this system? No.
I don't think you want to redline this particular system. The system being Zect.
Since this is going to be temporary, this is again a stretch. Jury rigging. So it only needs to last a scene, but I can reduce the difficulty by another 2.
You can jury rig if you want.
I will jury rig. So this will only work till the end of the scene unless I spend in momentum.
Yeah, instead of like properly fitting it on his arm and getting it calibrated, you're like, nope, wrap it around his head and just tighten the belt real quick and start tapping in the frequencies you need. It's like, is it ideal? No, but it'll work faster.
It will work faster. That's what I'm going for. Oh, and I don't think I declared a focus yet. Technical insight for how this doohickey works.
Yeah, I take that. It's a very
Alright.
specific device that I think it was either Jordy or Data made it. Like they made it. They invented the damn thing.
All right. 3 threat.
Making 3 threat eye. Remember when this was a 1 threat episode?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not fun.
well, it's only a supporting character who might die, so you know.
Yeah.
And bold engineering.
It's not like you guys are attached to him or anything.
And that is a
Oh.
difficulty 1 because I'm jury rigging this.
Mend the brakes and
And
Isa.
I'm going to
Oh,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
spend 2 momentum to make this last 2 more scenes.
Okay.
yes, Jim.
You and your medical staff are just getting into the room as you see that Arlen has wrapped some doohickey, it's not medical, whatever it is, to Zeph's forehead, has tapped in some buttons, tapped some sequence, and Zeph kind of stops. He's just very, very still. He's breathing, though.
Yeah, all right. So I am going to set the medical kit on the ground and kneel beside him and start doing a medical scan on him. And as she does so, she's just gonna like sound shocked and look at Arlen and say, "What sort of medieval torture device have you put him in?"
It's a quantum stabilization in bands, and I think during our whatever the heck happened, and because he's partially tied to hyperspace, he was more readily affected by it. So I'm using this to stabilize his quantum signature and stop whatever was making him freak out. And
Oh.
and we also administered 10 cc's of knockout juice.
15 cc, sir. One of the guys throws
15
in.
Yeah,
15 cc's.
One of the
yeah,
nurses
she's
gives him a
gonna-
look. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah.
sorry.
She's gonna like give a nod at the crewman third class who had to make that correction. And she's gonna look at Arlen and be like, "Well, I'm glad to know that one of your, monstrous inhuman inventions saved someone's life instead of damaging it this time. I would like to scan him to see how he's doing."
Reason medicine difficulty of 1.
Oh.
pretty easy when the patient's sedated and still, and you're right up to him, and you have a medical tricorder.
Reason, difficulty.
I will point out, as the CMO and you can, and the ship's counselor, you can choose to have your medical power fire instead for this mission, for this episode, instead of your counselor power, which will decrease the difficulty by 1 because you can have this medical team help you. Otherwise, it would cost you 1 momentum to create them for the scene, or you can just leave
Sure,
it
I'll
as they're
just-
just there narratively.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'll just keep them there narratively, and
That's fine.
Okay. Reason, medicine, difficulty 1. You know what? I'll spend 1 momentum.
On the button. Patient it seems to have suffered severe neurological overload. Shockingly, there's no damage. It's which may have less to do with his natural biology and more to do with the hyperspace implant he has that probably had some sort of like surge protection in it that saved him. But it's still, even a Sung type android, if he grabs onto a plasma vent and shocks himself, it won't kill him, but it's gonna drop him. It's gonna make him stunned, and that's kind of what happened to poor Zeft. Yes, he wasn't instantly killed, but he also was probably in excruciating pain. For now, he seems to be sedated, and whatever that weird device seems to be. You can see that even in your medical scan, you can see that his quantum signature is fluctuating, but it's very minute shifts. It's not the wild shifts that Arlen and the rest of the engineering staff report, where it's like where he was basically shifting like a whole percentage off, up and down the scale. Like it didn't make any like that normally would kill somebody to be that drastic a change. Like you turn into a slime or something, you turn into a acacian. Like it's big changes. But now it's like itty bitty shifts. So that's not great for his biology, but it won't kill him.
Okay. So, like, his organs are rearranging themselves, but yeah, who hasn't gone through that?
On a Starfleet vessel, it's more common than most would admit.
Okay, she's gonna make this scan and then say, all right, transfer him to the medical bay and keep him under observation for now. He looks to be stable, but we'll have to find a long-term solution.
I counselor.
Hey, Aza, can you keep me posted on this?
Oh, of course. I know how much he means to the engineering team. I'm going to be frank with you, Lieutenant. You know more about the infernal machinery you have strapped to him than I do.
Yeah. If you need any insight on that, let me know.
Thank you.
We take some of your engineers with us, actually. That probably might save us a bit of time. Says one of the nurses. One of the engineers kind of looks up. I could do it, sir.
Yeah, Franklin, and go with him and monitor the device.
Hi, sir.
And I'm going to turn to everyone else.
Crewman who corrected him on the CC number.
It was. And I'm going to turn to everyone else in engineering. All right, so we just went through a dramatic quantum shift. We need to go over our systems that are quantum sensitive, computer relays, and transporters.
One thing you remember as you're saying that to them, something just occurs to you. You walked by a warp core when you rushed over here, not a tachyonic collider. Like there's that weird, it just hits you now that that happened because you weren't thinking at the time. You were trying to get to someone who's in danger, and now it's like, oh, yeah. Wait a minute, that's different. And you don't see the little Alcaran like overseers are there's at least one hovering in each of the chambers.
Yep. I just shake it off and add add the dilithium matrix next to the list of quantum sensitive things I want a level 2 diagnostic on yesterday.
Aye, sir. You hear a chorus of replies. New scene.
Oh, it's just at the part where we find out I don't play the guitar, yeah, but I play the drums.
I had the asset ready to go, but
Yeah, I probably would have pulled Con into this as well.
So, can I ask a question about this?
certainly.
So, the changes aren't just we remember stuff from the future, but the changes to the Alcards and the Aldemona have changed our ship. Is that like the earliest change that we can notice between our memories?
Yeah, like that's the thing that it takes you a second to notice the lack, because they were a recent addition, but it's like, wait, there's no, because you even remember in Medical Bay there was at least one Alcaran hovering around to help with any power issues. Like they were just there to kind of, that way engineering didn't have to bother with it. But yeah, it's like, oh, there's none of them here, and there's no extra security because we don't have it.
I've
But
got
you
a
did
question.
have it.
But
Yeah.
my
Because
question is, go ahead, sorry.
I'm curious because I'm aligned with this universe now, like in
Mhm.
this timeline and this everything. Am I a cadet again?
What are you talking about? You made your dancing course,
Okay.
didn't you?
Um,
Yes, I have. Okay.
So,
And a MGH, a mission generic hologram has appeared to kind of help keep you abreast of the larger issues of the ship while you're having this meeting. So that way you're not having a yeoman run around. You just have a hologram that's here to kind of help you with your collect your thoughts, figure out things, and help you coordinate with the rest of the ship. So you're not having you're not using up as much of your personnel.
Whoa. That's
Well, what kind of mission are we working on today?
Then,
Advanced biology on a foreign planet?
and I will tell all of you, that's different. That's in the MGH was not something you had in the other timeline, but in this timeline you did. So some of you, there's a memory of yes, we had one, and then there's a memory of we never had one of those. We didn't have that installed
I'm
yet.
gonna
We didn't have any
lean back
emitters on
my-
the ship.
I'm
Searching
gonna lean
out
back
for
in my chair
infiltrators
and just look at
today?
this.
Perhaps planning a battle?
Winchester. Oh no, he's Clippy. He's
wait a sec.
badgy.
Wait
You
a
mean
second.
badge.
Actually, that's the best way to describe what I was planning with this character would be Star Trek's Clippy.
Yeah, it's badgy.
That's
Lower
homicidal.
decks.
Okay, this is just like him talking has just made Acer realize something. I want to quickly, like, as the meeting's starting, as people are filing in, can I search up the crew report on crewman Deva and her son Zeben?
According to the crew report, it seemed that when you guys were dropping people off at Vale, she requested a leave of absence to go with her son to make sure he was safe. She didn't want to continue on without him.
Okay.
So I think that means
Wait, Vale?
Taven probably doesn't know who Azza is anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, oh, that's really sad. She's just gonna like you hear a little sniffle, and she'll steel herself just before the meeting.
I lean back really far in the chair, just looking over this hologram.
I look suspiciously at Arlen.
No specific mission right now. We are discussing information.
Oh, non-specific missions are my specialty.
So, what's the data we've all collected?
Captain, you mind? I would like to start. Mainly because I know what's caused this, and it's my fault.
Well, by all means, if you
Sorry?
wish to take the blame, go for it.
Okay. Captain, you, I assume, recall what happened with me having to shoot the orb device.
I do, yes. That and 2 other pens memories, but go ahead.
Well, I did that in place of Admiral Trailblazer, who disappeared in this new timeline. That's because when I shot the orb, I was brought before a purified version of the device. One that wouldn't twist the directives given to it. In that moment, he just takes a deep breath. I was given the opportunity to make a change, and I did.
Oh, okay. Pen's just gonna.
What kind of change, Ensign?
Pen's just gonna stand up and walk over to the corner of the room for a second.
Oh, Starfleet protocol doesn't have good things to say about temporal or spatial changes like this.
I know.
Would you like to
Here's
review
the-
policy with me? We could prevent this in the future.
Oh god. Oh, you see, I'd complain about this, but I don't even know who this is. Oh, geez. Okay. Look. Here's the thing. When I was there before the device, I saw everything, or at least I knew everything, at least in terms of what everyone was hoping to accomplish, and I found out what the Admiral wanted to do. His goal was to tell the purified device to move the Iconian vaults somewhere else, so that they were always somewhere else. I simply did what he was already planning to do anyway. I was given the very distinct impression that if I didn't do it then, we wouldn't have gotten another chance. The Admiral wouldn't have gotten another chance. So I had to institute his plan best as I could.
That's small. That's a small comfort, I guess, says Sister Shreer. Means someone approved of the violation. So technically, you have to report the admiral who authorized it, since the MGH is right. It sounds like a temporal violation somehow.
Temporal violation handed down by a temporal admiral.
It becomes his problem, not the ensign's. Temporal
Yeah.
violations are not looked kindly upon in back in intelligence.
Ensign Finn, you're gonna want to submit a amendment to the mission profile and get that admiral's approval.
I don't know where he is, or when he is.
Oh, I can help you with that. There's a box to check for that. GM those
Yeah, I
focuses.
know. I'm thinking.
This man so
Multi-phasic. I'll
Meanwhile,
take
I'm
that.
just meanwhile, I'm just us mulling over or sentient questions in my head.
One momentum.
One momentum.
You can debate my sentience, but if you do, I'm going to debate yours.
Ah,
Tick.
Jesus.
So similar events would be akin to the Q Civil War that occurred that the Voyager encountered. Various changes occurred there. Commander Cisco, later Captain Cisco, ran into similar events where time was kind of less changed in medias res, but changed post cognitum, as in he saw ahead what he needed to do in a way, which did technically manipulate. He worked with future knowledge, which is technically a temporal violation. So it's not the first time Starfleet's encountered reality changing events, but they're exceedingly rare. Most ships that encounter it don't survive the encounter because it means that they've encountered some sort of incredibly powerful being or a Q, so on and so on.
I'm
Another reason
gonna hand a pad to Vin with the Starfleet. You've committed a temporal violation. Here's the procedures document, including I'm going to pre-schedule a JAG meeting for him with the ship's JAG officer.
Ven just gives a deep sigh, you know, mostly akin to Kip from Futurama whenever Zap Brannigan does something stupid.
I will say to the MGH, there is a JAG officer adjunct, but there is no serving JAG officer aboard. Your command isn't high enough. But you do have a person who's like, talk to this person to consult for regarding talking to the nearest JAG officer at the nearest starbase. Like they're sort of a liaison.
I am not a legal expert, but I'm going to point you to the person who can point you to a legal expert.
You're gonna point
I'm not a
point to a
legal expert.
paralegal who can try to help you.
I'm not a legal expert, but I did play one on TV.
I mean, I have an encyclopedic knowledge of the law, but Starfleet has not yet seen fit to recognize that as the equivalent of a Juris Doctorate.
Hey, MGAs, how does that make you feel?
I've already written my my representative about it. You know, it's not easy.
doing her best.
Lieutenant Erlin, don't forget the third committee's talking about this exact topic. You might want to be careful what you're asking.
Ven just
If
looks
you need,
over at the cap.
if you need, Lieutenant Arlen, I could give you an extra 3 hours to posit any questions. I know you like extra time.
To answer your question, Captain Pend, I have found out where we are. Getting back on track. She gives a look to the MGH and Arlen.
That would be very helpful, considering I have asked the people here to give me information on what's changed, not get pissy about an hologram.
It would seem that we are within the. It would seem we are within the Narendra sector on the Federation side. We are very close to Narendra Station at this time. She pulls out her pad and does some quick calculations. There's no roll; it's a quick. It's just a matter of asking the ship something.
Oh, we should send a status update to the nearest outpost in Admiral. Would you like to
MGH?
set up a channel?
No. We're not sending any communications until this meeting's been done.
Ah, prudent choice.
Captain, would you like us to begin documenting the list of changes we found? Because I believe them to be quite severe.
Yes.
We've not rearranged the deck chairs on the Titanic. Then, for better or for worse, you've made major changes to the past several months of our lives.
And as it stands, I'm currently the only person on this ship who's in sync with this new quantum reality.
We're about a day out, by the way, Captain. I just double checked my math.
Okay.
And that means what in common speech, Ensign?
From my best understanding, when I made the change, I created a new quantum reality of sorts. I created a new reality, or at least shifted us over to a new reality. And this ship is entirely out of sync with this new reality.
Does that mean we can
Well,
expect
Also,
another U.S.S. Achilles in this reality?
I don't know. All I can say is that
how is the
because
ship out of? Go ahead, sorry.
because I was the one who made the decision, for some reason I was spared the effects, I guess, or I was more seamlessly woven into this new reality. There's a lot I don't understand about what I did.
We can
How
work on
can
that. Would you like to schedule lab time to investigate an issue?
how how is it possible that our ship is not of the correct quantum signature for this universe if our ship bears changes that do not match with the original timeline?
How big a variance are we
Well-
talking about? That might answer the counselor's question.
How many decimal points out was it, GM? There were a lot of zeros before that one. Yeah, thank you. It was small, really small. 0.000001. I mean, large enough to be um on a quantum astrophysical scale, significant, but um not large enough to create much of an effect on the small personal scale.
I
One thing,
I would disagree with that statement. You can say the number is as small as possible. There have been major changes.
like for one, our drive system is completely different. We're back to a Mark 13 in warp core.
Which is what we
Yeah.
had and didn't have. Oh, sorry, Lieutenant.
Ensign Ven at one point reported seeing both a second instance of myself and Captain Pend, and then said they vanished. I would much like to know in what manner they vanished.
Oh, I can
Given I
probably answer
apparently
that.
have recollection of this other one existing, and yet a very vivid recollection of. Beat me up, Scott! Fuck off.
What the fuck?
Peanut gallery.
Alright.
A very vivid recollection of my memories
GM,
being tampered with.
did I see the manner in which they were, like, in which they apparated? Like, did it look like a transporter beam? Did it look like
Inside
something else?
engineering difficulty 2. That's a good question, Ensign.
Uh-huh. Because I'm the only one who saw that.
Or were you?
Take a threat.
Certainly.
Might be a
Astro.
stretch. Might be a stretch. Could I assist if he talks about it out loud? I might be able to.
You could assist,
Do-
yeah, because he says a lot. It had this kind of sparkle and this sort of frequency. It's like, do you mean this kind of frequency? No, more like this. Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think I was actively scanning with my tricorder when it happened.
But the problem is, this is long after the fact. Like, you weren't thinking about them being beamed. You were just you were scanning something else. Like they were as they were ordering you, and you were taking your tricorder out. They were being beamed. So you had some readings, but it's been a while.
Okay. Okay, that's fair enough. Astrophysics focus?
Yep.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. Yes, with complication. My bad. Sorry.
Doesn't matter. I didn't. That's not a 19.
Oh, there you go.
That is a momentum on the table. And what? Why not?
And Arlen, you can roll assist at this point. It sounds like he hit the number.
Yep.
Roll try
Ven's
assist,
rolls
Uh,
are also out of quantum sync with the rest of us.
Technical insight focus.
Yes.
So that is 2 bonus momentum and 2 additional regular momentum. Thank you, Arlen.
It sounds like what the Voyager described, and the first Enterprise described as a time beam. They were temporally beamed away, which is why you have to think about it because it's not something you see every day.
Okay, is that something that is a phenomenon, or is that something that would that requires a technology? Someone has to actively build a machine.
That's a technology.
That's a technology.
That's a type of transporter, basically.
Okay. That a question?
No, that's for free. That's just part of
okay.
the.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Is that a technology available? Is that a technology at the disposal of the Victoria?
I will answer that question for a point. Yes.
Okay.
Because they are classed as a time ship, so they would have been fitted with that in their. That would be. They're not very good at it, but they could do it. It'd be like putting a high mark transporter in a Constitution class. The Constitution could use it, just not very well.
I know. The fact of the matter is, after the change happened, they managed to stick around for a few seconds. Like they stuck around for like half a minute before they were beamed away. Would that delay in time? Would that delay in time correlate with a that what you just described? The fact that it's not a super advanced beam out on the Victoria, so it wouldn't have been as precise.
I'll take a point for. I'll take a point to answer that. No. If anything, their proximity makes it easier.
Could we tell based on the magnitude of the transport beam the space-time distance between the beamer and the transport pad? Basically
That'll cost you a point to answer that question. Yes, but you'd have to go back over your sensor logs, presuming they haven't been wiped, but you might be able to go back over your sensor logs and evaluate and reverse calculate how far they beamed. You'll get an estimate. You won't get an exact number because you don't have the proper temporal sensors for it, but you could make an educated guess.
So
you can narrow
Ven
it down to
ballpark
decades, centuries.
Ven and Arlen, bit technobabble back and forth at each other for a few seconds. Then Ven looks up and realizes that this is a good use for it. MGH.
At your service.
Could you?
Oh, hey. This I guess this is out of character because you did not say it in character. I was like, did you call me an it?
Did I?
That was not. I thought that was in character for a second, but I don't think you said that in character.
No, he didn't.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're wondering if the MJs needed to be insulted or not. That's fair.
Can you isolate scanner internal sensor data from, and he'll rattle off the internal ship time codes in this particular section of the ship, and isolate them on a quantumly stable computer node? for later
And
reference.
progress, would you like that in the standard 6 graph format, or would you like the Science Template 3?
Science Template 3? Oh, that's actually pretty. Like, he turns to Arlen and says, "Oh, that is actually really useful."
I'm sorry, you do not
I
have
prefer Science
permission
Template
to
2, but it's
access
personal
this
preference.
file. This requires an override from a command officer. In fact, the commanding officer.
Go
Captain?
ahead.
Yeah, I'll wait for that, and then once it's unlocked, I'll continue.
Yeah, I get to go ahead.
Captain, sorry, I should explain. What Arlen and I just worked out is that you and Rylov were beamed out, but not with a standard beam. This was a temporal beaming, using a temporal transportation system. Now, at first, I thought it might have been the Victoria, but running the numbers with Arlen here, no. Their proximity meant that you wouldn't have been around for as long as you were. There was a good 30 seconds between the divergence and when the two of you were removed from the timeline, as it removed from this time frame, as it were. That means that whoever was trying to beam you out was probably somewhere far away in the temporal sense. But without direct internal sensor data, I couldn't tell you exactly where. That's what I have the MGH trying to isolate now.
Would
The
this be
longer we
capable of
wait
altering our
to
memories?
the longer we wait to isolate it, the more likely that it's corrupted by the new quantum state we're in.
Lieutenant Ralph, you didn't lose any memories. It's just a case of the version of you that travelled back in time to that situation, like the two other versions of me, just got beamed away.
Well, I hate to point out the possibility, but if a beaming did occur, then with a very careful adjustment, one could rearrange neural pathways. It's just sheer shrugs. Well, if you mess it up, you turn someone's brain into goo. So
It is something that the star,
Well, if
the
they do mess
Tel-Shiar
up, they
would-
have time to try again. Just saying.
Look, why are we assuming that this is any of our business? Obviously, whoever did this has greater interest in greater technology and perhaps greater interest in all of this. Why? I believe we should probably just let sleeping dogs lie and hope whoever beams them off can treat them well.
Unfortunately, we can't let sleeping dogs lie because as this temporal shift is causing Cadet Zeph a lot of harm right now.
What?
So we need to figure that out.
Ben just like looks at you like, what? First he's hearing
Apparently,
about
he had some adverse reaction into the time shift. If he's currently sedated and in sick bay.
His hyperspace awareness caused shock in his brain. When this meeting is over, I will have to find a more long-term solution, but don't worry, Ven, he is stable.
I will change the screen over to show the process data, and I'll flip over to the temporal chart and say, Ensign Finn, your request has been processed, and it seems your beam came from 800 years in the future relative to your current time.
800
Are we
years,
really
that's a
going
long way
to
to beam somebody.
Are we really going to pick a fight with people from a millennia into the future over these two people?
One of those
Well,
people's my brother, counselor.
He's
one
one of an
is
infinite number of your brother.
Starfleet has a duty to all people.
well, one way or the other, counselor. I mean, we're gonna have to reach out to Admiral Trailblazer somehow over this whole mess, and one way or another, it will probably need to let him know about this.
Mm-hmm.
Given the alteration of events, it's entirely possible that Admiral Trailblazer never joined Starfleet in this timeline, given that it was our own time travel that caused the Alcarans to send a representative.
GM, I'm not from this altered timeline they're talking about. Do I know of an Admiral Trailblazer?
Um, reason plus command, difficulty of 2, assisted by the computers plus command. As you quickly run through your database, go who's you know because you have to roll that he's not within your within the immediate chain of command of the ship because you know uh 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 the various admirals directly in command of the Achilles, so he's somewhere he's in another fleet.
One moment. He might not exist.
You run into a classification wall, and
He,
to
if he
and
exists, I can neither confirm nor deny it.
that sounds about right. This is sure. I will report as well, in full disclosure, that I have memories of having used the reality orb before Ven did, and I heard antenna kind of twirl a bit as she's searching for the word.
I'll try to step in and I'll say, oh, you're going to need one of these forms too. Please speak with a JAG officer.
God.
Thank you.
Because she might want to do that.
um, I remember wishing, for lack of a better word, wishing for galactic peace and order. When she says that, Pen, you know that exact phrasing, and actually, Tharlik, you probably would have heard that as well. It's sort of it's as on Shishashrir's, like it was one of her big things she used to talk about from in political thought. That was her cornerstone of how she thought a good animal should be, good order and peace, galactic peace and order. Although Pen, you now know she meant it at the butt of a gun, like she meant at any cost. She just didn't add that part to her speeches. But Shishashrir just kind of echoes the words. I wish for galactic order and peace. And I mean, it felt like I got what I wanted. But Ven, it sounds like you feel a lot more certain what you changed. I felt like I wasn't really choosing, I was just being convinced to choose, if that makes any sense. I mean, I
No.
admit that I chose to go in there and speak with it, but
So
I didn't
here's
feel
the
like I had
thing.
more than one option.
When I was in there, I was able to understand what Trailblazer understood and what everyone else seemed to understand about this thing. That orb was corrupted. Um, Similarly to how Kashoans are corrupted. And I guess the best way to put it is um you were given a monkey's paw. Whereas when I used the harmonizer device that um, can restore Kashoans, it got me through the corruption to the true orb within. It was temporary, though.
I'll also note that I believe Commander Thralic and Captain Penn can attest to this. Oh no, Captain Penn, you weren't there. But Thralic secured me before I was effecting my escape because I thought at the time, that I had done what was best for the galaxy, and it seems. And she doesn't even look. She doesn't even look in Penn's direction because Thrallic's in that same direction. She's just kind of staring at the pad in front of her. It would seem that I was wrong.
Lieutenant Cicero will discuss what all happened with that situation after the meeting. Understood?
Aye, sir. She takes the form in front of her, starts filling it out, so she's doing something that gives her an excuse not to look up.
Commander Thralic speaks for the first time in this meeting.
Fuck.
As I can confirm.
Well,
What does the animal's appendage have to do with this?
What?
Just shaking back. You said this was a monkey's paw or ape's paw?
It's a Earth
That's one of
story
those-
that my mom used to tell me.
Yeah, one of those human folklores. They cut off the hand of a monkey and wish on it or something. Just for
Yeah,
continued
I
writing.
never really got it.
it's a cursed
But-
wish.
Yeah.
But then again,
That's
my
what it
dad
is.
had some weird Betazoid variants of that. You wish on the tail of a Harquan and something. It's weird. Then you
Well,
pull on it twice.
I hate to be the one here to refocus the meeting, but only one person has supplied what I asked for.
Captain, the biggest change appears to be in the medical department appears to be the lack of a Lieutenant Gaval. My name now sits in front of the CMO's office. Other than that, it is now larger. We have annexed the neighboring supply closets and turned them into extra bed space.
Okay, and he's just adding this to a list that he has in front of him of changes. Thank you very much. Is there anything else from the medical department?
Yeah, Steven's mom was a nurse, right?
Specialist.
Specialist, yes. Specialist Rixa appears to no longer be in cryogenic freeze. Instead, she took a leave of absence to be with her son when we left them on
Vale.
Vale. Thank you.
Wouldn't that have been several months in this timeline's future?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. This is
If
all
we've been
several
to
months
Vale
from-
already, I'm confused.
No, remember we dropped them off on the way to the gate.
But we haven't been to the gate yet in this timeline, and the gate doesn't exist where it's supposed to be in this one.
Right. Because
Oh,
I moved it
right.
all to the. Because I moved it all to the galactic core.
Yes, that's why I'm trying to compile a list of things that have changed and subsequent things that could have changed with it.
I'll get you a list of, or I think this probably actually would have been what Commander Thralic would have done, which was be compile a list of any crew who were missing.
Now, Ryla was
That-
having an existential crisis in the 15 minutes we had to get that together, so no.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
It's like, you have 15 minutes. I have 2 sets of memories, and I believe I've been manipulated in some way. Fuck you, no. Not that you can tell I'm having this crisis, because I'm inscrutable. That's my own problem.
Yeah, but GM, can I make a roll to have that? Like, have looked over crew manifests, and because I did this kind of roll previously when we had the time skip.
Reason command, div 2, assisted by computers command. Sorry, comms command. What am I talking?
And here I just upped my reason. I spent my arc increasing my reason to 9. I'll take an extra die with momentum and have a focus in observation.
I'll take observation. Yeah.
Cool. Uh, generate the momentum back. Then computer's command. No system check.
Well, I already rolled it.
Oh. Huh.
Checking over the command database, you notice that there are lacks in various departments. The various people who were considered lost in the other timeline got off at Vale, or they transferred before you got here. They aren't here on the ship anymore.
So, despite the fact we were in a time sense before we ever arrived at Vale, we still have records of going to Vale.
Yeah, this ship went to Vale and went to
Okay.
the gate.
All right, so we have computer records of all that, of all the previous timeline stuff, but nothing from this timeline. Or do we have both?
Sorry, I correct myself. You don't have computer records of that. You have reports from staff. Like they're like you get like because you're compiling it. Some of the people remember it. The machine does not. Like if
Okay,
you ask the
so
MGH, hey, do you have records of this? He would look at you blankly, go, no, I don't.
okay, so I'll say, Captain, I've compiled a list of individuals who we do not have computer records of being on board, but who the crew recall departing or being missing. And those individuals are not presently on board.
Understood. Thank you for that. Lieutenant Allen, any changes with the ship itself? Apart from the medical.
Still looking into that, sir, but our tachyonic collider has been replaced with a standard Mark 13 in warp core, and again, and I also believe the crystalline iron hull has been removed or was never installed. I am currently having in crews look over all of the more quantum sensitive bits of the ship, and I'll get a more or detailed report to you as soon as that's done. Which, GM, how long would that take?
1 second. I'll tell you in a moment.
Oh no, not the threat spend. Anything about the threat spend.
Is someone mocking me? Should I respond to that mocking? Nah, I'm better than that.
Please do punish him.
Well, it's not just him I'm punishing, you see, is the problem. So
Tragic. Save it for later.
Oh no, not the threat.
I wonder what happened
Trying
to
to-
Yola during all this. I could just target him.
Wait, would Alan even notice?
That face.
I mean, Yolan did have to go to sickbay. He was crystalled by Grennan.
Yeah, what's up with Grennan now?
We'll find out at a later date.
I was like, I broke an admiral's arm. And then it got better.
Doesn't help me at all. Do.
It's gonna take a while to dig through all the systems to get a full report, but at least 36, maybe 48 hours. I'll
Well,
see what I can do to speed that up.
we're not going to be moving from this position until we get a full report. So, if you need that long, take that long.
Aye, sir. Having us have full stop will help.
Order was already given, so when the meeting's over, take as much time as you need.
Aye, sir.
So, is there any other reports to give?
No reports, sir, but I would recommend making an all-hands announcement. It appears that most of the crew is experiencing these doubled memories.
Yes,
It
please inform the crew that if anyone needs counseling or feels mentally perturbed by this, that they need to seek the counseling department immediately because these sorts of incidents can do not great things to one's mental health.
Oh, look at that. You're being hailed. Would you like to accept this communication from Narendra
my
Starbase
God.
Station, also known as Starbase 364?
Specifically, who
Erling.
is hailing?
I will look at the caller ID. Does it say anything other than Narendra?
It would. Just give me a moment.
Like, Commander Layton, if you don't pick this up, I'll court-martial your ass.
It's Hepburn.
MGH.
If it's Hepburn, then the MGH is gonna hang up the phone.
For some reason, I have a distinct dislike of this person. I don't know why. It's very irrational.
Someone has
See, every time
programmed
I
me
say
with this.
MGH, all I can think of is MGM with the
Mhm.
lion.
It makes me think of MSG.
It makes me think of MGH, Massachusetts General Hospital, the biggest
Oh
hospital in
yeah.
Massachusetts.
Oh damn! Now that you said it, I can't unsee it.
Well, as this is about as much information as we're going to receive for now, Commander, I wish for you to go over the reports of the crew that are not here and confirm through the ship's systems, and if apparently we're close enough to Narendra to go through their data to confirm locations and differences.
You're
Yes,
being
sir.
hailed by Lieutenant Sterling Macbeth, Station Operations, Starbase 364, Narendra
The
Station.
new one.
Respond to Narendra. Dealing with situation will respond when possible.
I send that verbatim.
Lieutenant Commander? Is that me doing that, or the...
The MGH is doing the main role. You're assisting because it's...
Oh, okay.
You're getting him to do it.
Focus in Starfleet Protocol.
Yep.
Take a momentum.
Yes, I hit.
Yeah, 2 to squash.
Oh, you already rolled for the ship? No, the ship also rolls as well. Comms command.
1 second.
There you go.
Can I spend that one on an obtain information? What's the nature of this call? Like, can you give me a byline of what he's calling about?
I'll type that out to you.
This is the nature of this phone call.
Lieutenant Commander, so once this meeting's over, please return to Medbay and reach out to... or go through the crew reports, see who needs to come to Medbay, and just confirm with your new surroundings what changes and what we have and what we may need.
Understood.
Lieutenant Rylov, are you fit to continue duty, or do you need to be dismissed for the day?
I am present, Captain.
Then the same job to you as with Lieutenant Commander. Go over ship security, both internal and external. Give a full report. Take as long as you need until it's done.
Yes, sir.
Alan already knows what his orders are. Lieutenant Shishray, you will go over flight data, astronomical data, hazards, see if this new reality causes any differences than we're used to, and report if we need to make any modifications.
Aye, sir.
Ensign Van, same with science, give me general readings, and if assistance is required elsewhere with other departments, please render assistance.
Understood.
The message that you have received from the starbase is new orders for the U.S.S. Achilles.
I'll receive them after this meeting.
They have not sent them, only informed us that's what they're calling about.
I'll talk to them after the meeting. Lieutenant Rylov and Lieutenant Shishray, you will attend some meetings with Lieutenant Commander Aza, considering the issues we've had with previous memories. That's non-negotiable.
Yes, sir.
Ensign Van and Lieutenant Shray, please hand over your JAG officer requests. We can handle that at a later date.
You give them to the MGH or?
No, just delete them.
Ven just looks at the MGH and without saying a word and with just a straight face, just like staring at him, not at the pad, just taps the buttons on the pad and deletes the form.
Oh, this is
Being
not the
confrontational
MGH
now,
going
are
to prison, so the MGH does not care.
No.
He just sits
MGH,
the pad
You
do you
down.
have
violated the
any
law,
feelings
not
about
me.
this development?
y'all are really really wanting that AI revolution, aren't you?
I don't know. He's an AI. I'm testing him.
Lieutenant
is-
Arlen, I am going to request for my own sanity that you do not attempt to antagonize the AI over whether or not it's sentient.
Do not worry, Counselor. It is a hallmark of new and developing intelligences to scope out the world around them. Lieutenant Arlen is just making his way in this world as a small child might.
No,
Thank you.
that's look, MGH, you can believe whatever keeps you running, but the second you come into my office with a crisis on your hands, just know I will be very, very, very annoyed with you for becoming sentient.
I am sentient, but I will not be coming to your office. If something goes wrong in my program, I will just reset myself, a feature which seems to be sorely lacking for others.
GM, before everyone continues going down that tangent. Ven and Shishray, I've told them to hand me the JAG pads. There's no point in doing that right now. I've told Rylov and Shishray to have a meeting with Aza. Mandatory.
Who'd you make the mandatory request of? Sorry.
Shishri and Rylov to have a mandatory meeting with Aza. And I've also informed Shishri and Ven to basically delete their JAG requests until further notice.
Is that an order, counselor? Just sure it looks over at Aza.
No, I ordered it.
She says aloud, I'm asking, sir, if the counselor's ordering me. You can't order me to do medical tests, sir.
Okay, out of character, how much do I know about Shishishvir's criminal behavior in the other timeline?
When she said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The counselor's gonna like roll us around in her head and say, you know, it might be for the best if every senior officer sits down with me for a couple minutes. Not that I don't trust the stability of anyone in this room, but this is one of the biggest changes one could undergo, and ensuring one has their feet on the ground could be important.
I mean, it's not even the top 5 biggest changes in my life, but if you wish to speak to senior staff, by all means.
And, Captain, I will continue with my normal duties, but I'm going to reserve my right to seek counsel. I'm in significant trouble right now, so I'd rather, when I have the moment to spare, I want to pursue that as quickly as possible.
Understood. You probably won't need to, because I need to have a discussion with a few people, but if you wish to speak to a JAG, go ahead.
She nods. And she nods at Aza after B2, like acknowledging, like you can sense off her she feels comforted that she wasn't just being targeted on that. It's like, oh, everyone's gonna do it. Well, okay. She seems a lot more pliable to do it if everyone's doing it.
See, that was Ace's exact thought, is that, you don't pick on the problem child in the classroom. You get everyone to do it, and then it doesn't feel like a problem.
Oh no, I was just telling the 2 people who had issues with the memory thing to go.
But Sister Spirit took that a certain way. She's like, hey, wait a minute.
Well, I've given out my...
Let's make corrected,
yeah. I've given out my directives. Everyone, dismissed. I'm going to head to my ready room because I have people to talk to.
And when you walk into your ready room, you notice the sword you gave to Trailblazer is sitting on your desk.
The desk or the weapons bench?
Your desk. Like, purposely laid across it. Yeah. So you'd see it the minute you walked in.
Makes sense.
Where does everyone else go?
I'm going to engineering.
I'm going to go to the med bay and begin indexing medical reports and meeting with members of the senior staff and the rest of the staff.
I'm gonna go with the commander at the moment. What, she was gonna do crew checks, correct?
Yeah.
Great, because I had 2 people on this ship and they both are probably gone. I know for a fact one of them apparently is. So, hi.
Yeah. Plus, you were asked to do the security report.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that right now.
I'm gonna tag along with the commander because obviously this is a mission, which means people need help. I can't help with medical stuff per se, and the engineer seems to deny that I exist. So, by process of elimination, I'm gonna go help the commander.
Yeah, I think actually when we get into the turbolift, Thralic is going to start talking to the MGH about computer protocols to put into place regarding the 2 sets of information we'll have and how to collate those.
I was built for this.
Fantastic.
Presuming we have 2 sets of data.
Well, we're assembling a set of data right now. That's
In
going to
that matter.
contradict everything that's in the computer base. So, I'm going to set it up as like a separate database, essentially, you know?
Ah, you mean a new file?
Yes!
Essentially.
Yes.
Whoops, none of this. Hold on. Boop.
But, you know, with the state of 24th century stuff, it'll be like, yes, everything in this file looks to be blatantly untrue. We're marking to disregard that.
Mm-hmm.
New scene starts. And we focus on Ensign Ven. Where were you trying to go, by the way?
I mean, my orders were to continue working on this mysterious phenomenon and try to gather as much information as I could about it. Was that right, Captain?
That, and if you can't proceed any further, to assist others.
Yeah. There's that, and probably also I'm gonna probably want to check in on Zeph. Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna want to check in on. Because that's something where I feel like I both actually have something to contribute and also have a personal connection to.
So you would have asked, where would you have asked the turbolift to take you?
Sick bay.
It does not take you there.
Where does it take me?
The doors open on the wrong deck. There's no one which no one's there. Sometimes that happens when someone else calls for the turbolift at the same time you're using it. So the turbolift goes, well, I'm already passing by, so I'll just grab another person because that's just efficient. But yeah, there's no one here.
Ven
And
pokes his head, looks out on the other side. Computer. Sick bay.
you hear a thump on the frame, and a person materializes in front of you.
Yeah. Ven just sort of pushes himself against the back wall of the turbolift.
Omnis Ven, Betazoid human, sorry.
Starting to reach for his phaser. Who are you?
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Who are you?
I'm with the Midnight Watch, and we need to talk urgently. And that isn't a request. I'm telling you that's what's happening. Yes, I know.
Ven just gulps.
Would you mind stepping outside briefly? Being in close quarters tends to make human biologies antsy.
You look pretty human to me.
Appearances are deceiving, Mr. Ven. Would you mind coming outside, please?
Well, you're currently standing in the door, so...
She steps back.
Ven steps outside and looks either way.
You have your empath sense detects at least 7 other people in this hallway. And you get the feeling they're trying very, very hard not to be noticed, or they were a second ago, but now they're not. Like, they're not hiding so hard from you.
Okay, who else is here?
Colleagues. I need to ask you some questions. I need you to be honest, because believe it or not, I'm here to help. Our numbers are for our mutual safety.
I mean, I don't know what I could really do to presumably 7 more people who are probably about the same size as you if I had to venture a guess. Yeah, I don't think I'd stand too much of a chance, honestly.
What did you do?
What do you, I mean, I've done a lot of things lately. You're gonna have to narrow it down.
Mr. Venn, you know what I'm talking about. We are an organization centered around sonic and paranormal activity. You must have encountered something of exceeding uniqueness for my presence to be summoned. So, what did you do?
I put someone else's plan in place.
Whose?
A Starfleet admiral's.
Which one?
I'd be breaking a lot of laws if I said that. Probably more than I've already. Oh God.
I sense that you have done something drastic to the people of this crew.
Yeah. I did something drastic.
Right, and I'm trying to determine whether or not you're an existential threat to all life. So please help me determine that. Otherwise,
Trust me, I'm going through enough of an existential crisis myself. I don't think I'm capable of doing much more than that. I was put in front of something that could make a very big change happen, and I became aware of the change that needed to be made, and I made it.
Did you do it
was-
willingly? Without duress?
I mean, he leans back against the wall of the turbolift that's, closed.
Oh, the door doesn't close. The door is just sitting open, which it
Oh,
shouldn't
it's
do
sitting
that.
open. Oh, right. Then he leans against the wall next to the turbolift. I mean, when you're under high pressure situation and you know that you have to make a choice then and there, I mean, is that duress? I don't know. I mean, I made the choice.
Person's shades kind of their head turns and they look around at presumably the invisible people around them. Looks back to you. My advice to you, young Mr. Venn, avoid such choices in the future. Not everything out here with that kind of power is that forgiving of its price. We'll keep an eye on you, Mr. Venn.
What?
We're going to keep an eye on you, Mr. Venn.
And
Enjoy
what
your
happens
trip.
if I And
Hmm.
what happens if I tell my captain about this little meeting?
I would rather you didn't. However, I do not consider you a threat at this time, and you have no confidential information that I am unwilling to part with. If he wishes to lodge a complaint, there's an appropriate office for exactly that purpose. And beyond that, I believe is something beyond your rank. And I wouldn't worry yourself beyond that. If you must report, then you must. But I'd rather you didn't. It raises less complications around your case. But I can't force
My
you.
case?
Have a good day, Mr. Venn. And she vanishes. Or they vanish, I should say. The doors kind of close behind you. Like it just, like it suddenly remembered that it's a turbolift, and you hear it, boom, as it, well, someone else must have summoned it, and you're gonna have to summon a new one.
That had real Mr. Anderson vibes.
Oh god. Ben's gonna go over to the next turbo lift over.
For a half
Do I
second, you
still-
think it isn't gonna open.
Huh?
But it does.
Do I detect any minds around me?
Yes.
Who?
Uh,
Where?
Your fellow crewmen. They're kind of busy with stuff, trying to get all these reports. I mean, basically every department on the damn ship wants them to do something. Oh man, I was having a nice day. Oh, I have to wake up for this. Well, my shift's over, you know.
Bridge.
You'd already be out here. Arlen's in engineering, Aza's in medbay. Oh, sorry, was Ryloff and Throlic, did you go somewhere else other than the bridge? Sorry. I presumed you went here, but I might be wrong.
Probably somewhere else.
I mean, yeah, we're wherever the commander was going.
Oh, right,
Probably
the
just
mission.
going to like offices or somewhere to do some computer work, start gathering reports, start compiling data.
I'll
security
schedule
center.
a lab for us.
Yeah, sounds good.
Dang it.
Then just walks around the terminal and over towards the captain's chair. When Ven walks around, he looks shaken. Like, incredibly shaken.
I mean, I was in my ready room, but okay.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Yep.
Oh. Whoops.
So Schreer's the one holding the bridge. My bad.
You can just go to the ready room if you need.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm going to do. My was at the fact that Schreier has the bridge in spite of everything. Okay.
There's probably a look out, like you probably step out onto the bridge, look around. Schreier looks at you, you look at her, you make your and away you go, and she's like, okay. She turns back to her station and continues what she was ordered to do. All right. Who wants to resolve their thing first? So we'll do each of you in turn.
Well, I got some engineering to do.
All right.
Sounds like a volunteer to me.
And what precisely does Lieutenant Arlen wish to do?
I'm going to scrub through the ship, focusing on any systems that involve all of quantum mechanics as part of their function, and making sure that they're working properly and there's no ill effect from being in a reality that doesn't quite line up.
Reason Engineering Diff 2 is just about computers plus engineering.
Technical insight focus.
Yep.
Take a threat. Oh, wait. I know my ship. Determine the source of a technical problem. Two threat then.
I think you're
What do
gonna
my
figure it out.
bully and I see?
What do you mean we just have polarized hulls and no shields? Oh no.
When did we get the grappling guns?
Yeah. Well, that's just standard for this era. No. So thankfully the variance isn't big enough to cause it's enough that you have to recalibrate, but it's a simple thing to just tell the computer to recalibrate. And it's just a 1 to a 0 sort of thing. Very simple thing. But you have to do it, and now you know to do it, and you probably make that a standing order, shift everything, because you don't want the whole computer to be acting out of phase or out of sync with the rest of the universe. That's Don't assume that the constant of light speed is this. It's actually this by a small degree. It's a minute degree, but that minute degree exponentially it expands. It gets worse the longer you let it go. But anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're able to figure nothing. You don't have any legacy of the Alcaran installation of technology, so you don't have any increased complication with the engineering capacity. Your computer core is working fine, especially with the calibration. Warp bubble will form just fine. Shields work fine. Sensors have been recalibrated. Which means weapon systems recalibrate with them because they use the sensors to see what they're shooting generally.
Replicator transporters that uses quantum.
Yep, the replicator transporters work fine. It does. There's one blip, one anomaly that it doesn't really make sense to everything else because it isn't quantum related. One of the turbolifts halted for a while and then carried on. And but there's no lodged complaint. No one said anything. But it's a weird thing. Turbolifts don't normally just stop like that. They're usually on an active ship like this. That's with a massive investigation like this. There's turbolifts zipping all over the ship. One of the rare times turbolifts stop moving around is either gamma shift or when you're docked.
I don't really have time to look too far into it, but I am going to flag that turbo ship, that turbo lift, and that turbo lift shaft, and just have the computer notify me if there's any other anomalies involving both of those. But otherwise, I'm moving on.
Roger. But in the general, all systems now normal with calibration. There's still going to be the 24-hour deep dive that your crew's going to have to do, but that'll confirm any long-term effects like destabilization of hull plates and stuff like that. It's unlikely because the variance is so small, but that's why it's a 24-hour window minimum to kind of make sure nothing's changed for sure. Like no one's willing to swear on the book of ethics that it's 100% okay, the same as it was. Like, Starfleet's run into all kinds of weird stuff, and sometimes it matters. I mean, one ship was nearly taken out by a micro singularity that they didn't see until the last second. That's happened to a lot of ships, actually. They go, oh, it looks okay until you move. So they're just verifying that. It's a long shot, but hey, why not check? If we're doing a level 1 diagnostic, we might as well just do one.
And that's the level of detail I want to get.
Who's next?
Oh,
sorry.
Well, after I kind of verify that most of the major systems and they're taken care of, I'm going to sit down, take a break, and I want to find my husband.
Ooh, that's out of character.
Nice.
He's at least in the top 5 things of Arlen's things to do.
He is not aboard.
Where is he?
Where's who?
Yes, the computer?
Yep.
Or do you ask your memories?
I'm asking the computer or last known location because I don't trust my memories.
Uh, record not found.
Oh no.
Would you like to spend 2 momentum to quash the complication the computer rolled?
Yep. 2 momentum.
File deleted. Instead of file not found.
Who authorized the file deletion?
You do not have the requisite security clearance to know that.
What is the requisite security clearance?
Please consult with your commanding officer for further detail or intelligence officer if available.
Just add it to the
I'm gonna
list.
go through. Add it to the list. I'm gonna go through a list of the civilian and personnel that I can remember and ask for their locations, or if I can pull up the
Oh
whole
yeah, they're
list
all
of
here.
whole civilian.
Minus, they're all here minus, wait, hold on. Yeah, they're all here, save for the Davins, like Specialist Davin and her child,
And Yolan.
and Yolan.
Off the top of my head, can I think of any connection between either three of them that someone might find interesting in kidnapping them? Hypothesis on why the three of them and would not be on the ship at the same time.
One second. Oh, gosh darn it. Hold on. Insight plus security. Difficulty of 4, complication of 4. Because of your trauma.
Yay! I do have a trait advantage on trauma. I don't know where that came from. I think that was my Sally thing.
Your what thing, sorry?
I have a trait advantage on trauma. I think that was a one-time advantage I've been sitting on for a while.
That probably came from last episode. Yep, you still be able to use it now.
All right.
So diff or comp down.
Diff. Less dice have to roll, the less chance of a comp.
Roger.
Lateral thinker. I'm going to dance my way around my trauma. Instead of looking at the trauma head on, I'm gonna look at it slightly from the left.
Diff or comp.
Diff.
Okay.
And here's a stretch for you. Tinkering with my mental cognition.
No. Good try, though.
Worth a try. Let's see. Can I sabotage my own memories? No, that would be bad.
That would not be productive.
Jury rig my own thoughts. Never mind. Okie day. I'm gonna spend 1 momentum for 1 more dice.
Okay.
Come on, Boolean luck.
Nope.
Okay then, Legion of Honor. Just squash it.
From you remember of this, you remember that Yolan would have got off the same time as the other two would have. But there's no particular connection between the Dabins and Yolan that would make the three of them a good kidnap candidate as a group. But when you think about Yolan in particular, and you try not to overthink it, because that just kind of turns into a death spiral. You just overthink the problem. But you're able to kind of think it out in detail, and you pull yourself short of the edge. And you remember that he was actually a rather skilled astrophysicist and stellar cartographer and not cartographer, a stellar astrophysicist sort of person, a stellar evolution, astrophysics, that sort of thing. And you recall something to do with the Gungnir logs. There's quite some powers have a distinct interest in the weakness and vulnerabilities of various stars, either for weaponization purposes, threat purposes, that sort of thing. Sort of the new arms race. Major powers kind of scoff at the idea because it's kind of you blow up the stuff you want to conquer, which isn't great. But not everyone's quite that clever, and some people may want to have a rather skilled astrophysicist, and Yolan is a lot easier to kidnap than a Starfleet officer because he's just a civilian. I mean, Starfleet will still go looking for him, but he doesn't have a Type 2 phaser and a security team around him at all times. Especially if he's on Vale or some other non-Starfleet held planet. Then it occurs to you the Alcarans never came out here because of the vaults. They never would have went to Vale. So, and the Vale incident wouldn't have happened. So, what happened to Vale? And your memories kind of fog on that, because you have two memories that say Vale exists in one way or another, but this reality may have a different version of Vale. So it does raise the question of why the other civilians are here, but those three aren't. Well, two of the civilians aren't.
Uh-huh.
I'll let you percolate on that as I swing the camera over to the other groups. Lieutenant Commander Asa.
Hello.
Oh, you are here. Yes. Hello. What is the counselor up to at this time?
I apologize. I was talking, but I was muted and I forgot. Okay. So the counselor is I have two goals. One, I want to check in on Zeft and see if we can find a way to a way for him to handle the quantum imbalances so that we can remove him from sedation, find a long-term solution there. And two, I would like to start meeting with people of the crew and essentially make sure I want every person on the ship to receive some sort of check-in from anyone with any sort of mental health training to make sure that people are stable and okay. And yes, I can be trusted with a phaser right now because of what they've been through. And at the very least, I want to personally check in with every member of the senior staff.
Do you want to deal with Zeft first or the interviews first?
So Zeft is stable right now, right?
For at least one more scene, yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, then I will start interviewing senior officers as they're available.
Would anyone it like your characters will still do the other things, but during the course of a day or however long, is there anyone who's resisting who attempts to resist Aza's summons?
Yes.
I would not, but I also am about to have a meeting with the captain, so
Yeah.
I would not be the first one to.
I've got reports to receive and people to communicate, so after I've done all of that, then I'd do it, but I'm going to be swamped for a little while.
Yeah, so you're probably gonna see that guy tomorrow, but still.
We're not trying to avoid you.
Is Rylov is trying to avoid?
Oh yeah, Rylov has like the least to do, but he's finding the most to do to not go.
You have a problem. You have a non-compliant officer.
See, no, I can look at people's schedules and there's a big difference between I'm the captain of the ship and I have to do X, Y, and Z thing.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta go fly fishing.
Underwater.
Oh, no,
I-
it's not doing fly fishing. He's just doing other things that are
Busy
technically
work.
important, just not needed.
So, question: do I realize that? Do I see the distinction between like an excuse and a reason, like a rescheduling reason here?
This feels like an opposed roll to me.
Okay.
Insight plus medicine. This is going to be annoying. Insight medicine to figure him out. Presence plus medicine because you have to trick Aza into medicine or no, it has to be medicine because you have to convince her that it's so important that it can whatever the interview needs to be, it can wait, sort of thing. I will say, I'll get this out of the way now. Rylov is inscrutable, so he gets one free hit because you could ask him straight to his face, "How do you feel?" and he just gives you an almost Vulcan-like blank stare. Not that you'd ever call it a Vulcan-like stare, but you know.
No, she has called it that.
Oh well, never mind.
Does Aza get a free hit considering he's also been ordered by his captain to go?
He's saying, "Oh no, I'll totally get there, but I have this thing I have to do. It's really important."
Can we reschedule for next Thursday? Oh no, next Thursday doesn't work. How about 3 weeks from now?
Yeah.
Is
Basically
Rylov
doing what you're
this-
doing, but lying about it.
Is Rylov doing this while we're going to work on like the other mission?
It'd be over the course of like a day, because I imagine you guys are gonna be here for at least sitting still for at least 24 hours, maybe 48. So I'm assuming he has to keep up the lie for that length of time.
If he needs
there's some
help,
amount of queuing time
if
here.
he
Go ahead.
if he needs help managing his schedule, the MGH will help him fill slots. And that's not to help Aza, that's to help Rylov.
You're gonna give him like a timetable program.
No, yeah,
A timetable of how to avoid the counselor.
the MGH won't help you avoid mental health, but what it will do is efficiently schedule your calendar, blocking any free time you have if you ask. That being said, if the GM doesn't want you getting an assist, then I won't, but I'll try to assist if I'm allowed.
You can if Rylov wants to pull in the MGH. It's just that,
we were working
The
together. That's
really
why I
want
was.
to.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
you know.
I'll note no momentum gain on either end on this because it's blue
Sure.
on blue.
Sure,
Yeah, I'm
we'll
gonna
help
like-
the
I'm
MGH.
gonna let you make your decision first because that lets me know how hard I have to look for you.
We'll let the MGH help.
Does
Um,
Rylov have any romantic interests?
God.
I'm trying to ask
Um,
if I can use the focus courting rituals to help. Like, he has to meet with his significant other this many hours a week, so we have to schedule that in.
I
Right?
couldn't
Why do you
possibly
have
answer
a
that
focus
question.
in courting
Okay.
rituals?
No,
Because
he did
because
have best
I
friend
tried
that seems
to.
to not exist anymore.
Okay, then I'll just. Can I use Starfleet Protocol?
You can, yeah.
Yeah, the reason I have it is I tried to choose as many disparate and not connected focuses as possible so that at random times the MGH would have the correct focus. I don't think
Yeah.
maybe only Starfleet Protocol and EPS systems are things other players have here, but I have some weird
Mhm.
stuff that I don't think anyone else has unintentionally.
I
Well,
like
let's see if
that
I can help.
by having that focus, it implies that like you are one of the best seducers in the crew.
I
Okay.
schedule the time to meet with all the people I need to.
No. You gotta
But
have
no,
that.
I'm not very helpful.
No. You need to have eventually at some point. You need to do the thing where you're like helping someone on a date by speaking into the microphone, but but you're like really bad at it. And
The other thing with BGM, I'm paranoid, so how does that hurt me this time?
That actually gives Asa a free hit because because she'd know your file. She'd know that you may be reacting to her inquiry as by a paranoid overreaction.
See, I love how my own traits gave me a free hit and gave her a free hit, so my own traits equaled out. That's that is easily amusing to me. Clearly guerrilla tactics. I'm being sarcastic.
No,
I don't have a focus for this. I don't have a focus for avoiding medical attention. I'm not even going to spend anything to it. It's like important, but important, not important. If that makes sense.
it's not vital.
Yeah.
All right, Jim.
Yeah.
I have I have um. Here's my thought. Right, a focus in conversation. If I can talk to Rylov and smell the bullshit in how he's talking.
I could see that. Like you would, instead of getting the computer to do it, you call him yourself and go, "Hey, by the way."
Yeah, I was looking at your schedule. Does right now work?
It's probably in things he chooses not to say more than in what he says that gives anything away.
Also, I have the trait worldly. Like, I think I can tell when someone's being honest with me and when someone isn't.
I have the talent wary, but I don't think you count as an enemy right now. Just a hazard to his sanity.
Yeah. I'll take worldly. Yeah, you may be a lot more familiar with Romulan culturalisms that you
Mhm.
might be able to catch something that most Bajorans wouldn't catch.
And I've seen the veterans of conflict, denying themselves this sort of thing. All right. All right. I'll spend one threat.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'll give you one threat. I'm not sorry.
He's just an enemy.
Oh well, I guess wary does fire then.
No.
Okay, so that is 5.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no momentum generated. You see through it. He ducks and dodges a bit. The MJ isn't helping him do it intentionally. It just so happens that Ryloff is using the MGH to help him evade you. But the MGH is with 0 hits. Like,
I actually opened up time in his schedule by accident.
well, you need maybe you want some free time. There, I'm helping. No, you're not. Damn.
I'm going to alert the senior staff of the schedule I've created. Maybe they can fill your slots for you. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Wah,
Upon
wah.
seeing, upon learning this, I would like to track down Ryloff and talk to him directly.
We will deal with that scene at a later moment. As you're just gonna straight up corner him. There's not a whole lot he can do about that, short of
There is.
sprinting away from you.
I was about to say, with a phaser, he could do anything about that.
Exactly. I don't
so-
disappear. I make the counselor disappear.
Oh no, the
So-
MGH is not going to help on that one.
Men will literally murder their therapist before going to therapy.
Romulans.
Ooh.
And to help with young Zeft, daring medicine, difficulty 3, assisted by computers plus medicine. It would be 4, but you have your medical
yeah.
department helping you.
Daring medicine difficulty 3.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this isn't my specialty, so I'm just gonna have to brute force this one. One momentum. Ooh, one momentum, 2 threat. I think we can make this work. That is 4 successes.
Yep. So you're able to, between you and your medical staff, you're able to determine. Well, mainly it's the doctors consulting. You're the CMO, but you're not a medical doctor, so you tend to trust the doctors under your employ to do a thing. But if they're doing anything like wild, they have to explain it to you and get you to clear it. Because you're that sort
Yeah,
of thing.
if they say, "Oh, well, I think he'd be okay if we give him a lobotomy," I have to sign off on that.
I honestly think it's lupus, and we just deck his hand in water, and everything will be fine.
It's not
Yeah,
lupus.
his
It's
4
never
humors are
lupus.
imbalanced. He breathed in some bad miasma.
We'll get the leeches now. John, it's never leeches. Stop suggesting leeches. But I want to use my leeches. No. Anyway, the doctor's able to fabricate a similar idea to because the arm strap that is basically wrapped around the poor cadet's head is meant for short-term use, and it actually can make the wearer kind of queasy with prolonged use. That's kind of why Arlen was doing as a jury rig. Part of it was just speed of treatment. He wanted to treat the person as soon as possible, but also you kind of don't want this to be a permanent solution because it's not meant to be. It wasn't designed to do that. Whereas they put in a neural not a neural inhibitor, but they modified a neural inhibitor to it's basically this little tiny thing you put on their neck and it just sticks there, and it's helping it's helping talk to his implant. So they're both kind of they're tag teaming his brain to kind of help it stay within that weird variance so he can still be awake and stuff. He's still gonna be, for now, it's not a permanent, well, it is a long-term solution, but he is gonna have, due to the nature of the implant, the hyperspace implant, he's gonna see or perceive the other realities just like he was before, but it's gonna feel muffled to him. It is the best way it's explained to you. But it won't kill him now. Like, now it's not ideal. He is basically we are muffling his ability, but short of talking to a parapsychologist, this is the best the neurologist can do, because this is going into sciences that Starfleet does not mess around with. Like, they don't mess with hyperspace. Like, they only mess with it on a theoretical. Like, that's a thing that the Daystrom Institute talks about, not Starfleet Medical. It's like, well, this will do it. He won't die, but we're kind of muffling him. So, oh well, this should work for now. He'll be fine. We can try to figure out new solutions later.
That's all I was going to ask.
Oh, what were we gonna ask? Sorry.
I was just going to ask if it was permanent or if it was like a band-aid solution that might be able to be improved upon later.
It's very much a treatment, but not a cure. They have an effective treatment, but it's not the cure to his problem. It's like, well, I mean, we can always figure out a cure later while he's still alive.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. No, we've restored quality of life because we're not keeping him sedated all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, the nuclear option every time in medical is stasis them. The problem with that is, well, they're in stasis for prolonged periods of time. That's
I happen to have 50% of firsthand experience about the pain that can cause to the people around you. And I want to check in with Zeft very quickly and make sure he's emotionally okay with what just happened.
when you interview him, because he doesn't fight you on the interview. It was. Let me get his token on the board here because you aren't interacting with him. It was strange, counselor. It was I don't know. It was like seeing all the colors at once, except they kept changing the saturation. It was like seeing X-rays and tasting them, but still hearing gamma radiation. It's hard to describe. It was altogether interesting, but also incredibly terrifying because I'm sensing things that I couldn't sense before and trying to make it all sense. But what worried me the most is it felt like I was being, I don't know, like I was like one of those exams. Yeah, it was like an exam. I was constantly like there was a proctor just right there, being right over my shoulder, just breathing down my neck the whole time. And I'm trying to do a very complicated, transdimensional fourth degree mathematical problem. You know. Okay, maybe you don't, but you get what I mean, right? It's. But there was no one there. I mean, because there was, I mean, there was the other engineers there, but it felt like someone was there, and it felt like I couldn't get the test wrong. But the problem was, it was a test I never got to study for, so it kind of felt unfair. It felt like I'd lost my agency. I don't know. It's oh,
I understand what what you're saying. Really, really, what it was being thrown a curveball that you didn't expect. And the universe can do that a lot. And even if there were more fantastical scenarios in this, being being given unexpected and often painful events is not an unusual thing, even if this situation was unique. And I think we can run through many strategies that will help you be more prepared for this in the future.
oh, huh? I'll do my best. Yeah. Oh, has mom? Sorry. Mom. Has my mom checked in or anything? I mean, I wanted to. I don't know. I just get this bad feeling that she's worried about me. Did you call or
Um,
anything? I didn't want her to bother you or stuff. She kind of worry you a bit.
has his mom spoken to me? I don't believe
Nope.
I've met his mom.
You
She's
would have
got
met
a
her in passing at Nurinder Station because she's the director of she's the chief medical officer for the entire theater. So you would have known of her. Maybe even got
she's
orders from her once upon a time, but
yeah, she's my boss's boss thing.
yeah. But no, you haven't talked to
Yeah.
her lately. Mind you, you've been on basically comms black over the last 24, 48 hours. But, it's usually when you send reports of what medical processes you do, she's the one who signs off on, yes, I think this was ethical for you to do, or this was not ethical for you to do. Here's corrective action, But no, we haven't heard anything yet, which is
Um,
not
Cadet,
unheard of, but
Cadet, I haven't spoken to your mom. In fact, I've only spoken to her a handful of times, and every time I have spoken to her, it's been on work-related matters.
oh, huh. I usually not wrong about these things. Weird. Oh well. Must be
Y-
the thingy on my head or my neck. My neck, yes.
Yeah, I know being cut off from a part of you isn't great, but we'll work on a solution that can ultimately restore your fourth dimensional sense a little bit further.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Okay, then. I think that would be all.
I'll cut over to Ryloff, MGH, and Thralic.
Before we do our thing, can I help someone else out?
Who you want to help? I've already gone through 2 other people.
The captain actually.
They're happening after this because that's going to be a talk moment.
Yeah. It won't. I'm not. It's not the character being there. In fact, I'm trying to make use of a talent that means that I don't have to be there.
Oh, okay.
2 momentum to create an advantage that the MGH has planned a schedule for the command department, including some of the senior lieutenants, to take tasks normally done by the captain, so that the captain has more time to devote to this issue.
Which talent is
Obviously,
firing?
what?
Which talent is firing?
It'd be methodological planning, so if he ends up using this advantage, I get to assist even if I'm not there.
Oh,
Right.
cool.
It's not me actually by his side involved in whatever he's doing, it's just me helping on the planning side.
Yeah, I'll take that spin, sure.
So he still gets the advantage also.
He gets the advantage and he gets your assist.
If
Okay.
he uses that advantage, then I also get to assist on the roll.
Neat.
I also looked at that talent. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, that talent is 90% of this character.
Yeah, we'll see what Ryloth Thralic is up to with the MGA's assist, personal assistance.
Identifying who is still present on the ship, correct?
Yeah. So I compiled a preliminary list of everyone who's missing. I want to get precise. Basically, what I'm trying to do is get people to write down their memories of what's different, because we don't have that data in like a digital medium. So I'm trying to get people to submit personal logs, missing persons, basically set up a database of everything that's different and who's missing and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Radlov's helping, but Radlov's helping in a very, very specific direction of people.
All the spies he has aboard? No.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
If you want to racially profile Romulans, sure.
Control command difficulty 3.
All right.
Probably assisted by computers command. Yeah, computers command. It's
Team dynamics here.
Yes.
I will spend 1 momentum for an extra dot. And trait relentless here to lower the difficulty.
Yeah. Diff 2.
All right.
I'm guessing I'm assisting with the same things.
Oh, y'all.
Investigative.
Oh,
techniques.
are we all assisting with the same thing, or I thought
Yep.
Ryla was doing a different role. That's why I was.
Rylov specifically.
I didn't know who
looking
I was going to assist
for,
because I'm not
you know,
making a main role.
Yeah, Rylov's helping. It like what he's doing will help. But he's also specifically looking for something in the middle of all of it.
Specifically looking for some Romulans, I believe.
Yes. There only happens to be 2 other ones, and they're both currently missing, I believe. And he's like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. And I think Thralic is like subconsciously probably aware that that's what Rylov's going to do and doesn't care.
Shit.
Like, that's fine.
I want to
Damn.
find them. Give me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a lot of hits on a diff 2.
Yeah, you're
I-
able to get a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna
Just
make a
take it.
joke. Ignore me.
I try. No.
Harsh.
You're between the three, you're able to get a full recounting the various of the people who are here, and also getting people to coordinate with each other to help fill in the blanks without people accidentally inventing memories, because that's kind of the problem. If you prompt someone, what did you do last week? Well, what if I didn't do anything last week? I just kind of did my job, nothing extraordinary day to day. But if you say, did you do something, that implies I did something. Did you suffer anything yesterday? Well, I kind of gave you. I'm kind of implying you suffered. That sort of thing. There's ways to ask the question, and statistically, it's basically statistics questions and stuff like that. But eventually, you get back the information that a lot of people have very similar responses to the senior staff. There's a lot of double memories. Some people had minor traumas who they are going to the counselor for. Some people are a little resistant. They're kind of trying to duck the counselor, but they're not having much luck. Some people are petitioning the
Who could
captain
that
for.
be?
Some people are petitioning the captain for various, questioning like what happened to so and so, what happened to so and so, because there is still a gap of some of the people who supposedly were lost in the Iconian timeline, the Iconian Gate battle timeline. Whereas, because remember, you have two memories. One where you went through the gate battle and then came out the other side, and then there's one where you just arrived, like you had only just gotten the orb, and hadn't suffered mass casualties yet, or disappearances, better way to put it. So there's a lot of people who are concerned about that because there are some people who are missing, but it's not nearly as dramatic as it was when there was the time jump away from the gate, when there was that memory gap. As for the Romulans in particular, the one particular Romulan is still aboard. One Sub-Lieutenant Talora, who is very disoriented. She's kind of been trying to see Lieutenant Ryloff, but because the ship is kind of at this sort of soft yellow alert, they've kind of been telling her you'll have to wait a second. And eventually Ryloff would find out about that. Security has been trying to tell him, hey, by the way, someone's trying to meet with you. But there's other stuff that kept coming up that had a higher priority. Ship safety comes up. Someone wanting to have a meeting with you is not the highest thing they're going to tell the chief of security.
And she's not a member of the crew, so
Yeah, it's like she's not in tactical or medical danger. You want a meeting, lady? It's on the list. We'll get back to you. We're not being dismissive. We're just telling you that, you're on the list. You'll have to take a number. You're talking to one of the most highly secure ships in the fleet. You're going to need to give us a second. She's okay. She remembers. You get reports from her. She remembers everything from both ends. She's very lost because she doesn't know as much as you guys do. So her reports are very vague. Not out of an attempt to dodge. It may sound like that to Starfleet, but Ryloff knows better that she's not trying to. She's being vague because that's how Romulans tend to talk, but she's not trying to evade. She just doesn't know, and she's trying not to shame herself in her ignorance.
she's not saying I don't know because that's not a thing you do.
Yeah, you don't admit that you don't know. You just say, I'll look into it, and eventually you kind of press her on it. She's like, okay, I really don't know. As for the whereabouts of Lieutenant Koval, Dr. Koval, everyone remembers her. Everyone remembers that she was the CMO. But there are reports both in medical and in various other departments and the MGH, like the MGH does not know who Lieutenant Koval is. Like the MGH, when asked, would not know because the computer doesn't know who she is. It doesn't register as a member of Starfleet. So MGH just goes, if you tell him that person exists and they are a member of Starfleet, all right, if you say so, but, he has no memory of that. So the computer doesn't. But people on the ship do. They know her, they've met her, they've gotten treatment with her, some work with her, she's one of two Romulans, one of three Romulans on the entire ship. It's kind of hard not to know who that is, right?
And one.
But no one knows
hope,
what.
one hope with establishing this database is that the computer will be able to start being able to answer some of those questions, like, reconstruct stuff.
Yeah.
Well, one question for the database is, what is the record on Lieutenant Rylov? Because it should state of the events of his defection, which would include Caval, or should.
For one momentum, I'll answer.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. I think that's something the commander's also curious about to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Ryloff attempted to defect with another Romulan. The other Romulan unfortunately succumbed to their injuries and died when they arrived. Lieutenant Ryloff joined Starfleet on his own.
Huh.
But beyond that, the
Gee.
computer doesn't know because the computer wasn't told. Because it's a Starfleet
Ah.
security matter.
Wait,
I do have a value that I will do anything for the one I trust.
Mm-hmm.
That being her,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
as an also person known his entire life. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
great. I'm avoiding you even harder.
Can I spend one to this might actually be an advantage, not obtain information, but to have the computer correlate all. So Rylov asks everyone, do you remember who Dr. Caval was? Can I take those responses and try to build a profile for Dr. Caval to hand that over to Temporal Affairs in a temporal missing persons case?
For 2 momentum, you could totally do that.
I will do that.
And actually, in a rare bit of them being helpful, because Temporal Affairs rarely lets you know that they can be of help, because they can't tell you that. Temporal Prime Directive violation almost immediately. But in this case, they actually say, "We've opened a case file. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. We will let you know when we can. We'll let you know when we can let you know. But we're gonna look for them. We agree that this is a temporal missing persons case."
Lieutenant Rylov, would you like to set an alert for messages from Temporal Affairs?
Yes.
Your preferences have been noted.
Are we still under communication lockout?
That's on
Just
Captain
for-
Penn.
No, I said that to do that here, then if we have access to Narendra's database to run it through that as well.
Alright, cool. If we're no longer under communication lockout, I actually do have one other thing I'd like to do as well.
What's that?
If I have the time. I would
What's
like
that?
to see if I can reach out, probably try and reach out conventionally to, actually, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can reach out conventionally to the Midnight Watch and say that I want to get in contact,
You know exactly who to contact.
yeah, I know who to contact, and I have to see if he remembers previously contacting me. Because I want to see how far this knowledge of the event is, like how far it's spread, or how far what are the boundaries on this information. So I'm reaching out to try and get presumably subspace contact with Wartburg.
Okay. The person of the Minute Watch kind of says, "Oh, who are you again? Sorry, I'm type. Clicking upon our
Commander
database.
Sheethrolov.
Let's see. Stand by, please. Given the nature of the file, I cannot discuss this over subspace, but we do have a branch office at your nearest starbase, so I can let the appropriate branch manager know that you wish to discuss this file. I can set up a meeting with you at earliest convenience. This seems pretty important to you, so I can try to rush it for you.
All right, thank you.
Just
check in with that
call
office.
this. Here's their subspace frequency. Just let them know, and they'll make the time for you, including
Thank
all
you.
other emergency and red alert statuses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They actually say et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which they're kind of skimming over various like Federation bureau like regulations about a civil organization doing business under a red alert, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little, legalistic of them, but Minute Watch is a little careful these days.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. I'll
They
contact
kind of
them
have
at
a
my earliest
reputation.
convenience. Thank you for the information.
You're very welcome. Have a nice day. Sorry I couldn't be of more help.
Oh, no,
And
it's
then,
plenty of help.
boss music time. No, I'm just kidding.
On a
I mean-
one-thread episode.
We gave him
Oh,
a
no.
lot of threat.
I'm sorry, my engineering's so threatening.
It is.
The 12 car batteries don't help.
One moment.
I'm down for that. All 18 threat gone away. Oh no, that's just because you left the game.
We have defeated the final boss of the GM.
No, it's only if I start with 100 threat, but that's a different game. We cut to Ensign Ven meeting with Captain Pend. As Captain Pend is kind of up to his ears in the various stuff he's trying to do, but now people want to talk to him. On the plus side, his schedule's being made up for him, so that makes life easier.
Yeah, I think Penn will be having a conversation with the hologram about that.
Just for clarity, the hologram did not attempt to change Penn's schedule. All he did was, if approved by command, there will be additional senior officers scheduled to help him today. Right. I did not try to change Penn's schedule.
Oh, my mistake. Sorry, I misspoke. So suddenly the workload you were expecting to be up to your eyeballs in, it actually got a lot lighter. Because more people on the command staff, because you do actually have like other people in red that do stuff.
Instead of being up to your eyeballs, you're up to like, I don't know, your
neck.
chin?
You don't need to personally write off vacation requests, It's like, no, I can just get some ensign to do that. I don't need to personally do that. I can do it, but I don't need to do it. Yeah, your door's chiming at you.
Enter.
Ben walks in. He looks white as a sheet.
Any more revelations, Ensign, or is this something else? Yeah, I thought you'd get a giggle out of that.
Yes.
To which?
Yes. Captain, I was just intercepted on my way down to sickbay by someone from some organization called the Midnight Watch.
He stops what he's doing for a second. Was this a pleasant stop, or elaborate,
It was
please?
not.
Not. How would you describe this meeting?
Well, there was a woman standing right in front of me, and with he motions to his head. My empathic abilities, I figured maybe 7 more as well. I demanded to know who she was. She wouldn't respond. I made a motion to my phaser, and she said that that would be ill-advised before demanding to know what I did.
And did you inform them of what you did?
I provided no specifics. I said that I made a change, did so on the did so effectively through the orders of a Starfleet admiral. I didn't say which one. Sir, I thought they were gonna kill me.
So you believe they were hostile in their intent?
I don't know. I mean, once they realized that they might have been trying to determine if I was a threat or
Ven, Insight Security, difficulty 3.
okay, I'll take a momentum for this.
As you think back to the encounter.
That's 3.
Yep. Carry on. I'm going to type you in information.
I mean, I think they were trying to determine if I was a threat. And once they determined I wasn't a threat, I think they backed off a little, but left me with a warning not to deal with stuff like that reality orb again, which, I mean, if I never have to deal with something like that again, it'll be too soon, but, I mean, how can I say that I'll never run into something like that again? I've already done it once in my career, and I'm not even a year into it.
Well, luckily I've had interactions with the Watch in the past. I'll reach out and make it clear about how they should interact with the crew.
Although, now that I think about it, I don't think they wanted to kill me so much as they were reacting to me like I was possibly volatile. Maybe they thought that I posed some kind of a direct danger to the ship. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Well, when we find out if you do or not, we'll take it from there. But until then, I don't see any issues with you performing your duties. If you feel
And
like you
what
need to go on a murderous spree, at least inform us first.
And what of the watch? The midnight watch?
Yes, I will be reaching out to someone within their organisation to discuss their approach.
I mean, I don't know. They might have thought that they couldn't afford a direct approach. I think they didn't know what to expect with me, maybe.
Oh, none of us really know what to expect at the moment until we've compiled enough information to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I'm. Yeah, I'm sorry, Captain. This is all just a lot. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, that's a lot of threat.
Bridge to the captain. You hear Shishi's voice.
This is the captain.
We're getting an urgent communique from the Department of Temporal Investigations. They want us to come into dock immediately and report to their investigators. Actually, correction. Sorry, stand by, sir. Just re-verified. They don't want us to dock with Narinja Station. They want us to dock with the mobile dockyard? That's the order, sir. Your orders.
Follow it for now, but respond. We have a temporal issue, and we need some clarification.
Acknowledged. I'll pass it along, sir.
Thank you. Well, that's another group of people I was going to have a conversation with. That saves me the trouble.
And in all likelihood, I'm probably gonna have to have a longer conversation with them than you are, Captain.
Well, I would suggest, if you feel as if you need it, if you require any representation, I would be happy to assist.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain.
It's not the first time I've had to deal with authorities and bad decisions.
Yeah. Bad
That's the company
decisions.
included.
I mean, that's kind of how I got promoted to captain, so I don't...
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep, that's why he said it. That's why Ben said bad decisions.
But yes, if you feel as if you need representation, request that. If you can request for me to be your. I can I represent Ven if you request it? I'm not completely talking out of my ass there, am I?
You can be there. You can be present there with him, but he's required to answer to the Department of Temporal Investigation. He has to answer the questions.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying for him to not to answer, but he can request assistance from his captain if required.
He can't request it, but they can request for you to leave if they think that your presence is inhibiting their investigation.
That's fair.
But you can only ask you to be there. It's not unheard of for a ship's captain to accompany one of their staff. Okay. Now, whether or not the temporal investigator will want you there, that's a different question, but one problem at a time.
Okay, well, I was just trying to make sure I wasn't completely talking up my ass.
Yeah, you're not.
But, yeah. It's not the first time I've had run-ins with temporal or different aspects of the Federation. So hopefully I'll be able to talk you through any questions they have in this situation. Is that suitable, Ensign?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, considering we're about to apparently dock with a mobile shipyard, just get yourself prepared. I've got a request of communications to send before I join you.
Right. Okay. Anything else? I know you had some stuff you wanted me to look into, but that kind of got waylaid by weird white-haired sunglasses lady.
For now, focus on your upcoming meeting more than likely with temporal affairs. And just know that you're not the first person, nor will you be the last person to get in trouble with them for stuff they could have fixed themselves.
Grennan sneezes.
Grennan.
But for now,
Just somewhere, someone.
definitely someone. But for now, you're dismissed. Get yourself ready.
Okay, yes, sir. Dress uniform or just...
They probably won't care, so I'd leave that up to yourself.
Okay, yep. Regular uniform it is. Ven stands up. Thank you, sir.
It's okay, Ensign.
Ben
Ensign
leaves.
Ben steps out the doors. Captain Penn has this very bad feeling in the pit of his stomach that something about that Nobel shipyard, the fact you're not going to an interstation, the fact that Temporal Investigations already knew to talk to you, but they waited so long to say something. Plus, there's many, many things he doesn't know about this reality. And he's probably not going to like what he finds out.
What a surprise.
But that will be the end of the episode.